Shout to my mic-minded people locked in. The culture, the craft, the conversation. It's all for the love of MCs. And that's why I do this. And that's why I get sick MCs to come on here and talk to me. And today is no exception because I've got Visionobi. And do you know what? This one feels like it's been a long time in the making. He's a good friend of mine. And I think when this one drops, it's probably going to be episode 25. Don't quote me on that. But it was a given as soon as I started doing this podcast that this man was going to join me. And here he is. So, Visionobi, my brother, welcome to the podcast, man.
Big love, G. Thank you for having me. Finally made it happen.
Finally. But it was, you know them ones where like it's just set in stone that it's going to happen at some point. So we don't need to stress it.
No, we
don't
don't
need to worry.
Yeah.
I know what you were thinking. You thought I'd let him like run with it for a few months, make sure he's actually consistent and can stick with this. And then when he gets to like number 25, then I'll jump in.
Do you know what? I have the same paranoia with the Amen podcast that we're like, oh, maybe people are just waiting until we get bigger so they can exploit our platform. But it's all bollocks, innit? Everyone wants to talk some stuff and yeah, it's all for the love, really, innit? It's just taking us a little time, but that's calm.
100%. It's all for the love. And I'm looking forward to this because this is the thing, right? We've known each other for quite a long time. And funnily enough, we both grew up in Hertfordshire and we probably spent quite a lot of our teenage years and our sort of younger years in our 20s or whatever being like 20 minutes down the road from each other without maybe even realising. It's not like we cross paths that often. We got to a certain point. Do you know, I know I've said this to you before, but my first memory is actually bumping into you. Well, my first memory of like properly interacting with you and thinking, oh, there's matey, was actually upstairs in room 3 at Fabric. So even though we've lived like right down the road from each other in Hertfordshire, it wasn't until Fabric where I properly remember thinking, oh, that's that Visionobi fella.
What event was that? Do you remember that?
Oh, mate, I couldn't tell you the year or the event, but if I had to take a guess, it was probably like when I say mid-2000s, I'm thinking like 2010. Is that mid-2000s? Yeah. I feel like it was then.
Was I playing there or was it
Bruv, do you know what? I honestly can't remember. But I'm pretty sure, maybe I just imagined this whole thing. I'm pretty certain it is a real memory.
My memory's like really bad, but do you remember I actually clocked recently and like the first gig that I ever played out at 18 years old, you were the headline MC. Do you remember in Hitchin? At the Loft? Yeah, do you not remember? I sent this to you. Yeah, was it the Loft? Or what's the one?
The Loft is a club on Hermitage Road near the hill. The big road that goes up to the hill.
Maybe it's the Penthouse then?
Okay, Penthouse is the one
on the square. Sort
of in the town centre, just on the edge of the square.
Yeah, that's the one.
Penthouse is a bit grimier. That's where like by the sort of 2000s, then that's where the drum and bass and the garage nights and stuff would be. Like the underground stuff.
So I was playing with like a couple of resident guys and I was 18 and you were the main MC and I forgot that for didn't forget it, but like my memory only works with like jogs. And I remember like when we were like chatting, when we got a bit more matey and stuff, I remember like my memory like plucked that out. I was like, actually my first gig that I played out, you were the headline MC.
Who were you MCing for?
Nick Puttrell.
Oh yes.
Remember I told you about him before. I can't remember what his I've forgotten his DJ name now.
I'm pretty sure it was Nicky P.
Maybe it was. I mean, that fit.
I reckon it was.
Right? Yeah. So Hitchin, man,
that's mad.
Big up the Hitchin, man, them.
Come on. And it's funny because also we both, aside from being Hertfordshire boys, we both grew up in garden cities as well.
Yeah.
So this is proper like roadman business. Do you know what I mean? From the Shires, from a flipping garden city.
Were you lecturer of Garden City then?
Yeah, I lived in Letchworth till I was 13, yeah.
At least you're the OG Garden City, innit? I'm
the world's first Garden City. Or was it the world's first roundabout? It was one of the two.
Really? It's definitely, I mean, it's like where I live, Welling Garden City is modelled on Letchworth Garden City.
Yeah.
That's I never knew this until about 5 years ago, but the OG Garden City is Letchworth. You got me, bro.
Yeah. I trumped you, bro.
Yeah.
I sound from Hitchin, though, because technically I suppose technically I'm not actually from Hitchin, but I lived there from 13 onwards, and that's where all the good stuff happened. Do you know what I mean? But enough about me. So how did you feel like growing up in Hertfordshire? How did it shape you, or what are your memories of music when you were in Hertfordshire? Like, what was going on for you around that at whatever time you feel was important? What was happening in Hertfordshire for you?
So I went to school in St Albans. So I had like friendship groups in St Albans and then friendship groups in like Welling, because I played football for a local Welling team. And the friends from Welling were like into music like me and like very creative. And some of the sort of earliest memories, I guess, for me were like initially school and listening, you know, Randall tapes. I know we've talked about it before. It was like, who's got the Randall tape, you know? And I was like 11 years old when I heard drum and bass, which is kind of mad when I think, you know, 29 years since I first heard this music and like listening and got obsessed with it. I heard it at school. It was all about, you know, being on the bus, Walkmans, who's got the best Randall tape. That was like my inception to the music. And then I guess by the time I was like 13, I kind of had really like cemented a friendship group in Welling as well. And we were all into D&B and garage. And my mate got some Gemini DLP 100s. And I ended up about a year later getting like SoundLab, I think DLP 32s, sorry, Gemini 100s and SoundLab DLP 32s, so that I got belt drive decks, and I had a setup with like two PA speakers in my bedroom, like reasonable size PA speakers. Like, yeah, neighbors were hating. Parents were pretty chill, man. My dad was a big music guy. He wanted to fuel the fire. He was really happy that I was like getting super into music. He had a slight electronic influence from like the Pink Floyd and stuff like that. So
okay,
family were pretty like my dad's pretty musically gifted, to be honest. Like, didn't really all pass down like to me. I kind of took it in a bit of a different direction. But so I guess
he plays instruments and stuff. Your dad?
He can't read music, but
right.
he can play loads of stuff, man.
Wow.
You can just pick it up and play it. He played like clarinet. He could play the violin. He played piano. He played bass guitar. He played guitar. He'll play like a right-handed guitar, upside down because he's left-handed. Yeah, like crazy stuff.
Come
like
on.
and
like a one-man orchestra.
Yeah, proper G. So yeah, I guess that was actually really my sort of first influence with my dad, and like sort of idolizing my dad in that way, who's just a wicked man to idolize, to be honest. He's a lovely guy. So yeah, feel very blessed to have had that influence from him. And then I guess, yeah, then it moved into me sort of finding what I, you know, like my kind of music, and just drum and bass just spoke to me, man. I'm kind of like, my brain moves at a fast pace. So the music like feels just like, it's just like my BPM. It's like I like to do things like quickly. Like I'm not, you know, I don't know what it is, but it just feels like it's in keeping with my like neurons almost.
Yeah.
And yeah, garage, you know, ran our way. It was like a big influence on it. So like we used to go around my mate Johnny's, sit in his loft. His mum was cool with us smoking weed. Like she actually was like, I'd rather you did it here than be out on the streets, you know? So we used to sit in his loft room, and we would just, mate, it was such a good spot, yeah? Because he's like in Digswell, and it's like, there's a valley in between where I live now. Digswell's literally just over there. And there's like a valley in between, and he's up so high, so he could get all of the pirate radio stations. Sick. And we'd just be there like moving the dial, like, right, let's lock into this, and we'd know what shows we wanted to listen to. He'd record them on a hi-fi on his tape deck, you know. So for me, I felt so connected to London. I was obviously born in London. I lived there till I was, I think, 3 or 4 or something.
Oh,
and then,
where, what part were you born in?
I was born at Enfield Chase. Yeah. So
okay, I didn't know that.
My family all grew up in like Enfield, like varying like Southgate, all around there basically. So it's kind of funny because I have that connection with my parents when I ended up moving like back into London and lived in like Tottenham and Seven Sisters and stuff for like, I used to drive past my dad's primary school like every day on the way to work, which was cool, really. I used to like that because I think foundation's kind of important. So I felt connected at that point, like sort of drifting back into where my sort of family roots were. But yeah, as a result, I always had that connection to London. And then, you know, where I live, I'm 20 minutes to Finsbury Park, so you know, we were listening to pirate radio, got fully passionate about D&B and garage, and then, you know, when you're 14 at this point, we're heading into London on the trains to go Nicky Black Market, HMV, like, you know, all the sort of usual record shops around that area, and started buying vinyl, collecting music, mixing, and then I think I broke my first bar when I was 13 because my man was a better DJ than me. So I was like, well, I've got to do something different. So I'm a competitive guy. So I was like, I'm getting beaten here. So what can I do? But also, you know, I had a real fondness for like hip hop and rap at the same time. And it all kind of amalgamated. I was Heartless Crew obsessed back then. Pay As You Go, you know, that kind of thing. Skibber, Shabba. I had a real nice mix of all that kind of young MC culture. You kind of, you know, if you're in it at that age, that's the kind of that's the kind of like tapestry that I was sort of like looking at and going, oh, I'll take a little bit of this, take a little bit of that. Obviously, things have evolved, which I'm sure we'll get into, but at that point in time, yeah, they were like the kind of the big influences, and that's like kind of like my inception into electronic music, really. Yeah.
So when you were around your mate's yard, mate, it's so funny. Like the parallels, what you're describing is basically just. I know, obviously, it ain't just me and you, but it's identical, pretty much.
Yeah.
I love it. When you was at your friend's house having a smoke up and getting the pirates, do you remember what stations you were picking up? Obviously, Cool FM, right?
Yeah, Cool FM.
Yeah. But what other ones?
Do you remember Force FM?
Force FM, nah.
Yeah, Force FM we always used to get as well, which was pretty cool.
What, that was London?
I think it was, it might have been like Potter's Bar or somewhere like that. Yeah. Do you know why it might be there? I have to ask Filth, you know, because I don't know if I told you this story before.
Yeah, I know what you're about. Well, I know what you're about to say, but for the listeners, obviously, please say it.
I'll go into it. So yeah, anyone who knows Filth, what you may not know, unless you've, you know, maybe I have put this out there a couple of times, and me and Phil have had a bit of fun with it, but I used to listen to Filth when he was an MC called Sub-Zero, and he was part of a crew called TMA, the Mad Artists, who we used to go and get I'm sure Phil won't mind, but we used to go get weed off Phil, and I never knew. I'd been to his mum's house. I've been back to his mum's house a few times, like in the last sort of 5 years, for varying different reasons. And it was like crazy, man. I was in this bedroom when I was like 14 years old, and we didn't even know each other like that. I didn't even know that he was the guy we were listening to on radio until like later. And because my mate Johnny, Kobe, Bescaby, Frenzy, like a lot of names, obviously, when you're a teenager, everyone's got like bare nicknames and stuff. But yeah, he was the guy that he went Dame Alice Owen in Potter's Bar, and Filth went there as well. And that's how they knew each other. And he just had a few Potter's Bar connections. So we used to go knock about there a little bit, go to like some like parties and stuff, have a blend and whatnot. And it was kind of like almost a channel a little bit further into London. It had a bit more of a London vibe to it than like where we live, for sure. But yeah, man, Phil was an MC, and we used to listen to him Friday night. Him and Phrase, Sub-Zero, Phrase. I can't remember the DJ's name, man. Like I said about my memory, it's tough sometimes. But yeah, man, big up Phil. So that was Force FM, I think.
Okay.
Flex as well, I think, maybe.
Flex FM.
Yeah. Not sure if it was running back then. I'm just trying to think of some others, man.
Yeah.
You pluck any out for me?
I just because I love all this stuff, and people always talk about Cool FM, obviously, and you know, Rude FM or Rude Awakening probably comes up in a mix.
Yeah.
But I'm just interested because you're into garage as well. Sometimes the garage ones get a little bit less talked about because some of the conversations I have can be a bit more jungle D&B centric. So I just wonder what garage ones.
Force was definitely more of a garage station, but yeah, you might probably not London. It might be like Potter's Bar. Okay. I can't remember.
So if you're listening to Heartless Crew, I think their station was Mission FM. I'm pretty sure they were like Mission's main.
So yeah, thank you for jogging my memory, and also Deja Vu.
Yeah, of course, Deja.
Yeah.
That was Diesel's station, wasn't it? Diesel ran that. Yeah, D-Power Diesel.
I remember,
and obviously instrumental from the garage and then through to the early inception of Grime and
I feel like deja
Legendary.
vu's like one of those things that it's like if you end up in a conversation like that, it comes up pretty much always. It's like Nasty Crew, Roll Deep, deja vu. By the time I'm about 18 at this point, so this is like the kind of like after Heartless Crew and Pay As You Go for me.
Yeah.
Like obviously, I think Heartless and Pay As You Go, like two of the like OGs, and then it's like sort of evolved into like Nasty, Roll Deep, and then then it became Limitless. Really?
Very early 2000s, 2002. I mean, Deja Vu was the station where Crazy Titch and Dizzy had that legendary clash that spilled out onto the rooftop, wasn't it? I think it was in Stratford, above one of the clubs in Stratford. Had like a big flat roof. There's that legendary footage on. Go and check it out on YouTube. But yeah, it's sick. Who was your favourite? Like, just touching on the grime thing. Did you have a favourite grime? Or did you have a grime MC in particular that you were like really into?
From that era, if we're gonna talk grime and not garage, it was 100% Dizzy, Kano, DEE, and I used to quite like Sharky Major, you know. I used to really like Sharky. To be honest, I was much more of a Nasty Crew than I was Roll Deep in the early days.
That's basically Nasty Crew that you just named.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Getz. I think Getz really came of age, didn't he? Like he was one that wasn't really as much on my radar, maybe a bit shouty for me. I feel like he joined. I feel like he was Nasty Crew, but like real grime aficionados that were like there at the time might say that Getz kind of like joined at the tail end of it. Really? Okay,
I think so because I know like Stormin and Armour were two of the original members. Not obviously Stormin was legendary, R.I.P. I really liked Armour because he had like a mad off-key, slightly offbeat like yard style.
Yeah,
with a big growly voice.
Yeah,
that made him sound loads older than he actually was. I always gravitate towards those kind of voices. And who's the other one that was possibly in Nasty or certainly on the peripheral was Monkster.
Okay,
you familiar with him?
Nah. I've probably heard him. I might recognise his voice, but
I think you'll like him as well because he had like a sort of slightly. Just a mad thing. I'm supposed to actually thinking about it. It's the same as like a lot of the jungle MCs as well. There's such but the grime guys, such characters. Everyone was so unique and very, very different. Everyone had Bruiser was like the Cockney geezer, and obviously Dizzy and Wiley, and very, very unique.
The gimmicks and the theatre that came with it were like enticing, for sure.
Yeah,
and I did
theatre. That's a good word to describe it. Actually, the theatre.
I mean, it kind of is, though, isn't it? Like, even if you see in the modern day now, it's all part of it. I know, like, social media, there's that aspect, but the performance aspect of grime, I think, and, like, hip-hop, I think there's more that you can do there, like, than you can than I see, like, D&B, like, vocalists or MCs, like, effectively, like, recording artists doing. I feel like D&B in a sort of recording artist sense is maybe a bit like cleaner. I think there's more not risk maybe like taken with the grime guys, but they just have like, I don't know, man. There's a little bit like that extra like kind of like charisma sometimes. I think it's something that I think I lack as well. Like I think it's more they like own it. They're like, I don't give a shit. This is me. Like you think about D-Double's gimmicks, Scratchy's gimmicks, like yee, like you know, it's all these different things. Then and I guess in the jump
up,
like
motifs.
Yeah, I think in jump up actually in drum and bass, like or not. That's maybe like, you know, I shouldn't really frame it as jump up, but in the sort of in the sort of opposite realms to the kind of like deeper sound.
Just call it bruv. Just call it jump up. Everyone calls it jump up.
Yeah.
We all say jump up.
But like the Harry Shotters, the Skibbers, the Debts, like actually I feel like because it's like a similar era as that early grime, isn't it? So they were all funster, man.
Like they've all got that. Actually, fucking thinking about it, it's only the bit of D&B that we inhabit. It doesn't really have all that stuff.
No, I just
because it went jungle and jump up side of D&B and grime. Probably got a lot more in common.
100%. Yeah.
And I suppose therefore you could argue that you could say that the sort of deeper, minimal, whatever liquid D&B has got a bit more in common with maybe the world of hip hop. Maybe.
Yeah, I would say
But
that's not a bad way of putting it.
look, we're gonna have so many conversations around this stuff. Let's save that bit for a little bit further down the line. I want to come back to you. So yeah, you were breaking down the pirates. We got into the grime bit, but you did say garage as well. And not a lot of guests that I've had on have been really into garage that much. But I was a huge garage fan. Actually, my first ever pirate that I managed to get on Prestige FM in '99 was I was emceeing to garage, not particularly well. And I've actually found a tape the other day. It's proper cringe, fucking cringe central. Big up the 107.2 and tell our ladies cry, or giving it all like it makes like corrupt FM. Like it's almost like I'm doing a parody of them. Anyway, but yeah, I love garage. I love garage. I know you love it as well. So who are you checking for in garage, MC wise?
MC wise, honestly, I'd say my biggest early like influence outside of a similar time running parallel to hip hop was Heartless Crew, man. And it's funny for me because I feel like they're a lot of fun. And I feel like if I lack anything, not so much with like recent stuff I've been doing, but like I'm definitely like a bit more serious and a bit deeper, whereas they were just like spank your batty, have some fucking, female skanker. It's just all that, like, it was just fun. And I think that's what really drew me towards it, because it was just a couple of mates on a mic going back to back, having an insane amount of fun. And there's something that was really like magnetic about that and just drew me in. It just got me. I used to write out all their bars. I used to listen to tapes and write their bars out. Before I started writing bars, I was like writing their bars out so I could learn their bars. It was like weird. But you're talking like
Mighty Mo is more like they were both sick in their own ways, of course. But Mighty Mo was a little bit more lyrical. Yeah, and Bushkin was a bit more like the vibes master, because they connected the dots, didn't they, between like sort of sound system, dancehall, ragga kind of vibes with the smooth R&B, but the garage. Yeah, they kind of brought it. It was almost like they were a sound system. I think they literally were a sound system in and around the Tottenham area, North London, back in the day, before it became more of a garage thing. So.
Gooners as well.
They were party vibes. Is it Gooners? Yeah,
they're Gooners as well. So I think that was that always helps, doesn't it, if you're a Gooner? But
so what did you do after you wrote the bars out? Did you learn them?
So I think before I started writing my own lyrics, that's what I was like writing their bars so that I could learn them, to like basically like practice like rapping. I'm like 11 or 12.
Wow, that is mad young.
Yeah. I'm like 11 or 12, because I wrote my first bar when I was 13. So before I wrote my first bar, I was sort of listening to tapes that I'd recorded from like pirate radio and stuff like that of theirs, and I was like writing their bars out just to like MC them to my mates for like jokes, just to make sure I'd learnt them like kind of almost like surgically, Like the same way that I approach it in now, you know me, innit? Like I'm like writing 1 to 8 bar long things that I like remember them to a T. Like it was almost like a bit of training, like early kind of
early dojo.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Oh, what was I going to say to you? Slipped my mind. Were you writing down like Skibbity's bars or any the D&B guys' bars?
I can't actually remember, but it wouldn't surprise me if I had done that. But honestly,
like a dossier somewhere of lyrics.
Yeah, do you know what? I could actually go into my cupboard. I've still got them, mate. I've still got all my old stuff that I wrote at that age as well. And it's like, cringe central, like literally like folder like this, like no joke, of like,
sick.
14 to like 18-year-old bars. When I was,
that would be cool, like a cool collage to do, is like some artwork for a future project or something.
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually. Yeah, as long as people can't read what's on there,
you kind of blur it out and filter it out a bit. But 11, that is young, because I was about, I don't know, man, maybe 14. I was in my teens, like maybe 14 or 15. I'm a little bit older than you, but 14 or 15 when sort of buying a tape pack and someone's like, "Oh, these are decks, this is vinyl," and so 11's like,
But it
it's
makes
probably
sense,
like roughly
right?
about the same era. So what are you talking like? Was it about 98 for you?
Yeah, exactly.
Give or take?
Yeah.
So I was probably about 95, 96 by the time I was really into it.
Well, I remember buying Ronnie Size Represent New Forms when it came out. Okay. And the original, that was 1997.
Is this 97? Because in my head, that feels like it. He's
Because
way later.
I'm 85, so yeah, I'm 12 at that
Okay.
point. So yeah, I think that was the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
CD I ever bought, which is wild.
97. So if you'd asked me that, I would say I'd probably even put that in 2000. I don't know, mad.
I think it got repressed, didn't it? Got repressed,
Okay.
and then like there was the extended version, but I didn't have that. I had the OG CD that was only
Yeah.
like 13 tracks long, and then it got ruined in my mate's car when I was like 16 to 18, and then I was like, oh, that's actually it like really grated on me, because I was like, I would have loved to have had that, because it was such an iconic piece of art for the history of my like journey through drum and bass.
Yeah.
Me and SP always talk about it as being like probably one of the most game changing like albums for us musically. Yeah, we both always like on that, and yeah, man, it's just it got all scratched up and just used, and then I didn't really realize until later. I was like listening to a version of it, like, why has this got like so many tracks? So, and I was like, oh, I had the original OG version before they did the deluxe.
Wow.
And yeah, so like, yeah, it would have been a nice little thing to have, but it's gone now.
The track that really stands out, just remember hearing it at the time and thinking, yeah, the one that really caught my attention was, I think it was the very first one, really short track called Railing. That one with Dynamite on.
Leng. Straight
like that
Lengers.
for me was the one. Yeah,
Straight Leggers. That was the start of me listening to albums front to back. Because you would never skip in that tune, and it was like, what a way to come into an album, just like some rugged drum beat, like hard hitting drum beat, and then Dinah just comes in like, yes, something of a different pace, fresh, and just rolls off.
Yeah,
I could do the whole thing get done, like, because it's just in there. My favorite of that album was Heroes. I love Heroes for me when that bass comes in. It's either a double bass or a bass guitar. I think it must be a double bass. When that comes in, like, shadooby boom, ba-da, ba-dang. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah,
it's
of course,
like, yeah. That tune, it's just like so organic, so simple, and it's not like loud, it's not anything, and it's just like an instrument bass. And it's like when it drops, it's like a hard drop, but it's like hard in its,
it's almost like jazz, isn't it?
Yeah, it is exactly.
I don't know much about jazz or listen to it particularly, but I feel like it's almost like jazz. And then I think Andy Seal, Origin Unknown, did a remix of that. I remember that being used to get rinsed at Warning, like a darker. Yeah. I don't feel like I went in on that album that much. I don't know. I can't really remember. Obviously, I remember the tunes, and for me, it was all about the Groove Rider Jeep remix of Share the Fall.
Okay.
That's a classic, man.
You're digging deep there for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, great. It's a good era, man. It's a good era. All right, so garage check, grime check, D&B kind of influences check. So what about the hip hop side of things? Talk me through that.
Yeah, so I'd say hip hop early on. Like first brought to my attention was like Tupac, Biggie. You know, you're sort of like more, I wouldn't say commercial, because I don't think at that era it probably was, but like I'd say early on was like Tupac, Biggie, and like Eminem really for me. I'm not sure what era I'm at now, but it's like very, very early Eminem. I remember listening to was My Name Is the first thing he released.
Like most people's introduction to Eminem, wasn't it? Like they're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, is this geezer? Out of nowhere.
Like before, after like Infinite and all that. Obviously, I've gone back and listened to that stuff now, but I remember being in my mate's living room in St Albans at his like birthday party, and someone being like, I've got this CD, and it's like, I don't know what age I am at this point, around 13, like maybe, might have been earlier, I don't know. But yeah, and literally someone being like, it's got the explicit like little tag on it or whatever, and like it's like naughty, it's like, yeah, I've got this thing, and playing it, and I don't think I've ever been privy to a reaction in a room of a bunch of like my friends or people listening to something that was as iconic as that, because it was just like you know how he just come in so raw, didn't he, like cussing himself. It was, I mean, I love Eminem. I know people like giving him quite a lot of stick these days for certain shit albums or whatnot, but I think lyrically and technically, I think it's hard to say there's a better rapper out there than Eminem. Like in my opinion, like
I think you've got to zoom out with these things, haven't you? Because you can't, if you zoom in too close. The reason I feel like I can talk on this because I didn't really listen that much to him, but my son, big up Dexter, not that he listens to this, but I big him up anyway. He's only 11, so I monitor. He listens to the clean versions. Let's say I monitor quite closely what he listens to. But anyway, he got really into Eminem. So we're driving around and he's got like a playlist on my Spotify and he's playing me tracks. And the reason I'm saying this is because if I zoomed in too close, I'd be like, oh, like something like Mockingbird comes on, and I'm just like, oh no, I can't. I'm not really feeling it because I feel like he gets a little bit too whiny. But then Dexter's played me other tracks that I don't feel like I'd ever even heard before, and you'd have definitely heard them. But like the ones where he's going just super fast rapping, like techers galore,
rap god.
Yeah, Rap God and Venom and some of these other ones. Like, it's crazy. But then the funny thing is, right? Coming back from the football match on Sunday, Dexter's like, "Oh, listen to this, Dad," and he's got some Harry Shotter.
Awesome.
And he plays me he plays me. I introduced him to Harry Shotter. Obviously, he's not just found that out on his own. So he was like, but he went away and like got into it a little bit, and then he comes back and he plays me the Harry Shotter Animal tune. Yeah. And he said, "Dad, listen to this. I reckon this is better than Eminem." And I listened to the show. I feel embarrassed saying this, to be honest with you. I don't think I'd ever heard it before.
He took the world record off Eminem with that track.
Is that the track? I said to Dexter, this must be the world record because it is.
That's the world record track. Yeah.
Shotter goes mad.
Yeah.
This track is insane.
Yeah.
But the clarity and the speed and like his name. I'm saying to Dexter, like he's name checking so much stuff in this track that you obviously as an 11-year-old wouldn't understand, but I'm just hearing this thinking. So anyway, yeah, Eminem, I get it. I understand. And so many people that have come on here have referenced Eminem as a big influence.
Do you know one of the main things I would say actually, like, just to come back to why, is I loved his storytelling. Okay. And the way that he would, like, I'm a big concept guy, right? And I think that's my take from Eminem was, I agree with the whiny stuff sometimes, but I think after album 4, it got a bit whinier for a while and stuff like that. But I think the first 2 albums, conceptually, they're on like a whole other, that they were like groundbreaking on some whole other level in their time. And I think what I took from him was that you can really dig into a concept and tell a story within a track or a lyric. Because at this point, I'm just writing lyrics, really. I'm taking that and I'm trying to do that in a D&B rave or a garage rave, which I think fundamentally has been a big struggle for me to kind of maybe start to actually be a recording artist who's making songs. I was never really about that. I kind of took that influence from hip hop and maybe like early grime to be like, I just want to be able to do that in a rave because I love the live environment. I just love lenging bars. And I think that's because I was like, had Skibber Shabba over here, and then I had like, and like, Heartless and stuff, like, who weren't, prolific at releasing tunes. Then I had my like Kano, Dizzy, and then like hip hop influence, coming at me. And it was just like, that's kind of like maybe like cross wires slightly, because I just wanted to be really just a rave MC. And then moving on from like the American stuff, then I discovered UK hip hop. And I would say that's where my true love of hip hop came. And to this day, I will cite Jest as my biggest musical influence ever, to be honest. And I think the way that he writes conceptually, tells a story, multiple meanings in his lines, makes it as complex as possible whilst trying to make it simplified. Maybe that making it simplified bit is something that I've particularly struggled with. I'm still on the real like complex one, and sometimes it's hard to get those really like clever, complex lines that flow in a simplified fashion. I think that can be quite a techie like techie to execute that. But for me, him, like, just I still to this day will just say he for me is the greatest like lyricist. He's just effortless swagger, you know, Return of the Drifter, Falling Down, to this day, two of the greatest UK hip hop albums of all time. Like story pieces, real simple production, like funky, kind of funny, kind of cool. In its time, I'd sort of I listened to that religiously at uni because I'm a bit older now, I guess, because I'd heard Task Force and certain like bit of Rodney P and stuff, maybe like before I left to go to uni. But yeah, I'd say at that point I'm like around 18, I'm in a bit of a sort of 50 Cent kind of Dr. Dre, Eminem, like that kind of era, or D&B. And then it's like occasional UK hip hop. And then I kind of discovered Jest and was like, this is my guy. And then obviously I think since Jest, I think UK hip hop has blown up hugely. And there's just a plethora of ridiculously good lyricists actually that I would much rather listen to than most of the US stuff because I find it way more relatable.
But having said that, I've heard you talk at length about a whole range of US artists and rappers that I'd never even heard of, so I know you're pretty deep into all of it, aren't you?
I'd like to think so. I just love the art form of rap. Weirdly, my brother was my US influence, hip hop influence. Actually.
Is he younger or older?
He's younger. Okay. But I was like D&B and garage, and he's like one of the biggest Eminem fans like ever. Oh yeah, I took him to Puggle Pop when I was playing with Wilkinson, and we were like waiting for his entourage to come out in the hope that we could get a signature, because my brother wanted his name's Dave, right? My brother's name's Dave. He wanted to get Eminem to write on a piece of paper, "Dear Dave, thanks for the support, asshole," so he could get it tattooed on himself.
Wow.
Mate, one day I come home, super fan, kitchen bleach. He's got kitchen bleach, and I'm like, what have you done to your hair? He's like, bleached it, mate. I'm like, yeah, like you're talking like he's young. Because if I think back to the first time I heard My Name Is, he must have heard it at the same time, and he's 2 years like younger.
Yeah.
So it must have been even more naughty and even more raw for him. And then he kind of was listening to all 50 Cent, you know, Dre, like all of that kind of stuff, the bit more commercial, I guess, like really, than like what I was kind of listening to. But I just like was like, I heard it so much at home in like a bedroom next to mine. I just got into it as well, and I was like, this is sick. So I guess I had a bit of an era doing that, and then found Jest, and then went a bit more deep with it, I guess.
So early teenage years is Hertfordshire, is the education via the pirates and the tapes and all the stuff we talked about in all these different genres, but picking out your favourite MCs from all these people that we've discussed. And then you're a bit older, 18, 19, I guess, and then you go to Southampton. You went for university. Was that the next kind of big step?
Yeah.
Wait, had you performed anywhere before you went to Southampton?
Yeah, the Penthouse.
Oh, so that was before uni?
Yeah, that was 18 years old. My first gig out and about. Pretty tragic from what I remember, but we were on early. It must have got a bit better, but yeah, I don't remember it being like some ram out thing, but it was decent enough. And then I think
before that, were you doing radio and stuff? Like, were you doing radio tapes, anything like that?
Yeah, so I can't remember. This is going to really annoy me. I used to play a radio in St Albans, and I can't for the life of me remember what it is. I'd have to get Gera to tell me, because he now works for a guy who used to run that radio and now owns like I think he runs it, or he used to play on there as well. But he said to Gera, he's like, "Oh, I used to know your mate from my radio, or the radio station that he used to play on in St Albans, and he's now the guy that owns like Loop Masters. It's been bought by Beatport." So he's and he's like from St Albans.
It wasn't called Manic FM, was it?
That's it, Manic.
Is it Manic?
Yeah, well done. Yeah. Manic FM used to have like a regular show on there. Used to play with like two of my mates. I think it was like a monthly we used to do. I I've definitely done others as well. I definitely did one in like Potter's Bar once, and then yeah, but that was kind of it really. It was more of a local thing. It was kind of
Okay.
hard at that point to try and get into London, I guess, like
Hmm.
at that stage, because you're just like no one knows about you really. So
Yeah. Trying to find
yeah,
that little bring in to
yeah,
London, but sometimes the doors don't always open.
no,
Okay, so yeah, so you've done the radio, bedroom tapes, stuff like that,
yeah,
then Penthouse, and
yeah,
then you moved to Southampton.
yeah, yeah.
And how important was that to your MC trajectory?
Absolutely key. There's two main players I would cite from that era, and that would be Joe Raygun and Harry Guerra from Guerra and Stone, or Guest. Obviously, he's no longer part of Guest, but I met Joe at the first uni party that I went to. We were both like trying to flex the same girl, and that's how we met each other. Like we were both like mates, but we were both like fully friend zoned, I think, like already, and it was just like one of them ones. But met Joe, um, and yeah, like kept in touch with him. He wasn't in the same halls as me, but we had like a connection with music. Like I've known him for so long now. I'm 20 at this point. I think he's like 4 months younger than me, so he was the school year below. But you know, we joined uni the same time, met each other the same. Obviously, yeah, when we were like 20 and 19, and then yeah, man. I met Gera when I changed my course onto digital music production. Bumped into Harry. He was like, oh, this guy's into drum and bass. And he was like into drum and bass with a load of like quite a few techno producers, some house guys, couple jungle as well, whatnot. But like, yeah, he kind of like come over, said hello. Yeah, we like ended up just basically being inseparable for like 3 years, and then sort of accumulated. He was local, so he was a Southampton local, right? And he went to uni at Solent, which was the uni I went to in Southampton, which was kind of, it was an institute the year before I turned up. I only got university status the year that I was there. And yeah, like he had a whole local community that he knew and people that knew him. And all of a sudden I was this MC that was like best mates of him. And I guess yeah, we kind of formed a really, really solid crew down there, mix of locals, like Eddie Rocksteady, David Stone was another local. He lived in like Romsey. Obviously, that's how they knew each other, and they eventually ended up doing stuff together. And then yeah, like me and Ray Gunn from like uni, and like Joe got his name because he started promoting with a guy who was running a night called Ray Gun Youth, and he was just known as Joe G. Like we always called him Joe G because his surname begins with a G. And yeah, so we're all hanging around together, living in houses together, and that's kind of the vibe. And I guess really Southampton was very, very jump up influenced. And at this point, I'm about 19 and I changed my name from Fury. When I was like really young, like 13 or whatever, Fury. I think 14, 15, Furious, because I was like, everything rhymes with E. I need to be more original. I'll be Furious.
Yeah.
Aggie teenage vibes. And then weirdly, I went back to Visionobi. I called myself Vision, I think. And then I was like, oh no, I can see there's another Vision. I think the internet was probably, you know, like I could actually get on the internet
Yeah.
at this point. And I was like, oh, there's a DJ Vision, I think. I was like, nah, I need my own name, a unique name. So I was like, you know, Jedi, use the Force. Force is my bars. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Took the Obi, put it on the end, and that was it. So that's around 18, 19. I changed my name to Visionobi, and fundamentally at that point, I'm still very much into like jump up, double time emceeing, but I'm making this transition from 18 to like 23, where I'm kind of, I don't want to say like growing up because it sounds like a little bit like condescending in a way, and I don't mean it to be like that, but I guess evolving. I just was like kind of taking in that hip hop influence, that jest, and being like, I want to be a guy with a conscious message. I'm not a rude boy gangster. I'm not, you know, going around and doing all this like naughty stuff. Admittedly, like, you know, I'm shotting and, you know, doing bits and pieces here and there or whatnot, but I'm not like some gangster G. I'm just like some uni guy who's got good chat and got well connected. And yeah, I guess I make like a transition into just kind of like a bit more conscious. Like, I'm still a mixed bag. You know me. You heard the most recent EP. It's all Aggie. So it's like, I guess I just go through stages. I like having that side to me. Maybe it's like my Gemini, you know, two sides to a story, and that's kind of how I operate. So at this point, I'm kind of going through that transition. Up until then, I've kind of just been Aggie little teen guy. Yeah. Now I'm like getting a bit older. I'm evolving. I'm like, nah, I want to have a message. I want to, you know, channel like more of what Jest is doing. That stuff speaks to me. I want to speak to the people. I want to teach people something. I want them to connect with it on a deeper level, like that kind of vibe. And Gera was instrumental in this because we just both had a love for Jest at this point. Because my first year uni, me and my mate Jazz in halls, pure Jest, man. We just get lean, listen to Jest, be like, oh my God, they were like analysing every bar, like ESP, like extrasensory perfection, just like, all that, you know, a weird one that's just like basically spoken word. It's like, oh my God, like, you know, going to like, he means this, and like it was like wild. And then met Gera and he's just like, yeah, I'm on this. He's like, yeah, Jest, well, you know Jest, and like we just like had this Jest connection again. You know, another SP thing. You know, you have these connections with people that have the same thing. I know you're a big fan as well. It's like when you love someone that much, you have the passion for it. It's like you instantly connect with someone, right? So yeah, hip hop, D&B, Gera, and I'm in a jump up city. I'm in a really quite prolific jump up city. Paradox is a night that's running there, and it's a really successful night, and it doing like huge shows, thousands of people, varying different venues, warehouses, lots of stuff like that. So we're going to them. And at this point, I went to 3 Innovation in the Suns in a row and had a fantastic time, still on that like jump up wave. But I'm different at this point. I'm not that kind of double time jump up MC. I've got quite a lot of that, but I've also got this, and I'm like this mixed bag at this moment.
Yeah, it sounds like the cogs are turning, and you're just finding that way to express it.
Yeah. And then there's a night called Night Flight that Benster, don't know if you heard of Benster, he MCs for Harriet Jackson now. He's like a real interesting character. And a guy called Greenie, who's like infamous in Southampton. Big up Greenie and Benster. And they basically put me on this night. You know, they knew me, they knew Harry, so I got to meet them through. They're like, are you an MC? They were kind of like, oh, this guy is like different, you know, because I'm out of town, everyone's doing the jump up thing, and I was well, like I was almost a bit out of place in a sense. Like it really was kind of like that because nobody was really doing what I was doing. But honestly, that is why when you said at the beginning like how pivotal was it and stuff, it was so key, because from going in Night Flight, there's like 7 MCs back to back in the downstairs room. Main room shit's going on upstairs. Everyone's going back to back, and it comes to me, and all of a sudden people are hearing halftime flows and different shit. And I'm not the one that people are like popping off to. I'm not that guy, you know. They're not like, oh, like everyone's like going nuts for the double time people and stuff. And I'm not getting kind of much of a response. I'm thinking, where's my place here? You know, I'm like a bit almost lost. And then a key player in my journey comes into the fold, a guy called Carl, who's running the club, right? And he's just started this new night upstairs called Wax. And he calls me, he comes like this, yeah, he comes out of like the back office, and he's like, and I'm like, fuck. He's seen me doing a line in the toilets, or saw me like skinning up outside.
That's the first thing you think of, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to get fully baited. He just pulls me into his office. He's like, yeah, he was like intimidating. He's like a small guy, but he's like intimidating to us because he's like, oh, he's the boss of like Rhino, like back then. And he was a big deal, you know. Don lives in Panama now, absolute Don. And he called me in and he's like, he's like, yeah, so just heard what you're doing, man. He's like, yeah, I think it's really, really cool, actually. I really like what you do. And he's like, would you be interested in like hosting a new night I'm starting, a uni night upstairs? It's going to be dubstep and drum and bass. I'd like you to do like every week. We'll get the headliners down. You can host for them. I'll give you like 50 quid every week to do it. Unlimited drinks. We'll get you wasted and stuff. I was like, yeah. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I'm like, what? I'm like gassed. I can't remember if at this point, I'll chime back to this, whether I've played a Ray Gun Youth with Gera, because it was similar era. We're both coming through. I'll get into that after. And I was like just gassed, yeah. And like I came out and like obviously no, sorry, let me wrap that up. So he goes to me, he's like, there's one condition. I was like, okay, cool, what's the condition? He's like, you can't give the mic to any of these waste men out here when they try and blag it off you. And I was like, cool. I was like, absolutely cool. Because yeah, I knew he got it, right? And he was like, this guy's, I'm not saying a lot back then, because I think I always say a lot. I'm not the guy, you know me, I don't like being told, oh, you're wicked because you know when to shut up. I think that's such a par for an MC. I hate that compliment. It ain't even a compliment. It's an insult. It's like rule number one is work with the music. It's not let the music breathe. Like that's just work with the music and then it gets time to breathe and you get time to leng. That's how it runs for me as an MC. Yeah, otherwise 100%. you're just a host, and I would never consider myself a host. I have done host roles and but they're not my preferred method of rap or emceeing, right? And yeah, he said that to me and I was like, right, that's mad. Well, gone outside, told Gera's like, what? He's like, sick. And then yeah, it kind of worked as I then had the link with Wax and brought all my people through. So I was like, right, Gera, straight away, he was a resident for Wax. I was like, you got to hear this guy. He's got exactly what you want, what you're getting. He'll be able to warm up. Then we got Eddie Rocksteady, reggae, dubstep. This is your guy. And then a guy called Ryan Basu called Dub Concept. He come through as well. This guy called Ollie started this sort of promotional company called Underground Music, and he started a website and stuff and ended up bringing a few of us together. Do you know Whiskey Kicks? Do you know Nicola? She's like the main editor for UKF, used to write for DJ Mag. You would have...
Okay, no, I don't think I know her.
You'll have read a lot of stuff that she wrote, yeah? I met her through that little crew in Southampton. She was down there as well. And we had this like little crew, yeah? And then you've got Ray Gun doing Ray Gun Youth. Me and Gera would go out, play Ray Gun Youth together. And we'd like warm up. It was like Gera and Visionobi. It was always Gera and Visionobi. And then I would host the headliner as well. Because Ray Gun, even though Ray Gun's like the sickest rapper in the world, he would like... at that point, maybe lacking a bit of confidence, he was giving me the drum and bass stuff because he's a hip hop guy, right?
Yeah.
And he's not really playing out at this point. So yeah, that was like our community and how shit built. And then we started a night called Release as well. So then we had Wax, Release, and Ray Gun Youth all running, all talking to each other. And we bought like intelligent, for lack of a better sort of word, but like underground, deep, minimal, liquid drum and bass into Southampton. And we had two of the most beautiful years, man, like getting like D Bridge down, and I'd like be hosting for D Bridge. And then I got my first Fabric Room free booking off that because he was like, you're sick, I'm going to get you to come Fabric and stuff. That's how it happens, yeah. That's how it happened, yeah.
Wicked.
So honestly, it was so pivotal for me, Phil. I can't put into words how pivotal it was for me, because I was just a different kind of drum and bass MC in a city that was predominantly like very jump up influenced. And because there's a big university population, and as the rise of sort of intelligent drum and bass was kind of coming in liquid and stuff, we had a couple of really good years. But then honestly, 1 year, all it took was everyone was into techno that come to the city, like the kind of like university gang. And we were just losing money. And it sort of was up and down like the underground is for a little while. And then eventually I got the gig with Wilkinson and was like, it's time to go back to London and be the small fish in a big pond rather than the medium-sized fish in the smaller pond.
After locking down Southampton for a couple of years, being the guy.
Go on.
No, I was going to say, we'll come to the Wilkinson thing in a sec, because that's really interesting. But fair play to you for, when you were describing it, there's like 7 mic-hungry MCs, all like just can't wait to rip the mic out of each other's hands to get their bars in next. Like, fair play to you for sticking to your guns, because I've had my own version of that. And it is tricky because, as you were describing, you know, it's understandable as an MC. It's tempting to get that instant gratification of like crowd reaction and impact. And you know, we don't sound that similar, but we've got a very similar ethos and we've got a similar kind of approach to this. So yeah, it's tricky when you're sort of spitting a bit slower or trying to say something a bit different, and you're surrounded by people with big rave voices who are doing all the stuff that gets the ravers hyper. It's tricky, isn't it? So yeah, fair play to you for sticking to your guns, and then my man recognise it and going, you know what? Come this way, we're going to do something that like it's going to encapsulate what your vibe is about, and then look where it took you. That's sick.
It's so true though, isn't it? Because it is MCing in all the art forms we've spoken about predominantly lands when it's like catchy and interactive. Yeah. And I've never really been that like call and response or gimmick guy. You know, I have a few like, you know, do you feel a connection to this music? But even that's not, it's just more of a, it's not background noise, but it's more just like adding a tiny little vibe to the tune rather than I am the tune.
Well, that bit you just said, do you know, I'm just going to come out with this, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So you said connection to this music. Are you at one with this sound?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. Do you feel at one with this sound? Yeah.
There you go. Come on. See, it's there, mate. It's in the subconscious. It's in the subconscious, mate.
You've got the cheat code.
Achieved.
You've got the cheat code of the fact we like have been doing a lot of stuff together recently, and it's nice that we're picking up each other.
None of that. None of it's prearranged or anything like that. Nah, so it's like, that's just in my head. When you said that, I instantly knew. Oh yeah, I know the next bit to that. But yeah, and it is tricky, isn't it? Because even if you look at like I don't know, like Pow, Lethal B, Pow, or like Grime in general is like very 8-bar driven. So it's like, come on, you're gonna bring arms house. Do you know what I mean? It's just like what one sentence, pretty much sometimes, what one sentence can I say that's gonna get a reload and smash the dance.
Yeah.
And that's just like that's not what you do, really what I do. So you have to find different ways to kind of connect with people and get I think your point across.
You got a bit more of that about you than me. I think you're pretty
said
good
that the
at
other day.
Stuff.
Maybe not. But the point is, neither of us are on that kind of high impact, like give it to them in one sentence type thing. And that's not what, you know. But that's the great thing about music, right? And MCing is that it doesn't matter. There's room for all of it.
Yeah,
there's room for all of it. Okay, back to you. So Southampton's been overrun by techno heads. The bookings are dried up.
Yeah,
but the next door opens because man moves to London.
Yeah. So I think I was booked in to do 3 trial shows of Wilkinson, and I was still in Southampton at this point. And
how did it come about though? How did you end up getting the trial shows?
Do you know what? I can't even remember. That's weird because I do know. Because
what often happens is like word on the street is that so and so's looking for an MC. I remember like someone coming up to me outside Hardware once, and someone was like, "Oh, Friction's looking for an MC," and everyone's like, "Oh, is it?" You know, like so that kind of thing. Oh, Pendulum's looking for an MC.
Yeah,
like, these things happen. I was talking to Messi about it, and it was like the same with him. Pendulum, Fresh is looking for an MC. So Wilkinson, at this point, was looking for an MC.
Do you know what? Interestingly, I played with Mark at a wax night at Rhino, or maybe it might be called Audio at this point. I can't remember because it sort of changed its name when it got bought out. But then the night remained Wax, and I played with him when he was like really up and coming on Ram, and yeah, thought nothing of it, and neither did he. It was like he probably couldn't hear me. I used to MC out the front of the booth a lot because there was no monitor. It was like one of those like nightmare kind of setups on a weekly basis. I'd just be like in the front row of the crowd basically. But yeah, like proper underground shit. But yeah, it was nothing to do with that. I remember, I think it was Rec, because obviously he's managing him at this point. He's picked him up, and I can't remember exactly how it came about, which is annoying because I definitely have known in the future. I've just obviously forgotten in this moment. But yeah, I got an opportunity to do 3 shows with him, and the first one was, I think it was NAS Festival, And I'd only ever played at this point, I think the biggest club I've played at is probably Junk in Southampton, because we used to do stuff there, which is like 900 cap or something, right? But there's 2 rooms, so I'm playing like main room, you know, maybe like 800, 750 people or something. And
it's still big though. It's still big.
Yeah, it was pretty big.
They're not to be sniffed at. I know, like people say, "Oh, what's 7?" But it's when you're in a room full of 700 ravers, like,
yeah,
I mean, you're on the mic, you've still got to show up. You know,
I'm also still, you know, I'm like 23. You know, this is like 20 to like 24. Actually, to be honest, had done a couple of paradoxes as well. He'd brought me in. I'd definitely played a couple of paradoxes, so probably about 1,000, 1,250,
okay. You're fully like you're in that earn your stripes mode. You're earning your stripes on the circuit, cutting teeth.
Yeah, and then I've got this trial gig with Wilco, and obviously meeting before the show, backstage, hanging out, like chatting, like really cool guy. I love Mark, like he's such a G, and yeah, it's like in one of the NAS, like the kind of like hangar things. And it's like 4,000 people, I think someone told me, because I wanted to I wanted to know. And I just remember having like my mate Andy in my ear, like who's just this absolute G, just being like, this is your moment, bro. He's like, your whole life. He's like, this is what you've been like grafting to like do, you know, this is the culmination of everything, and like look how many people. It's like you've made it, bruv. Like this is it. Like the nicest guy. And I got my mate Ben, like kind of going, bruv, you see how many people are out there? Like kind of like winding.
Was this helpful to you at this point? Was this helping you or not?
I think I ended up
making
like,
you feel more nervous.
I got pretty tipsy, and do you know? So I forgot to say a key factor before this. I got told when I turned up that Andy C was doing his Alive tour at this moment in time, right? So Andy's on after Wilco, and he's got to set up all his thing. They've got to wheel the thing in. They got to wheel the triangle in. They've got to do all this shit. And they're like, we need you to fill 2 to 3 minutes of silence with this. So this was the thing that, sorry, I should have said this at the start, because this was the worst thing. They were like, you've got to fill 2 to 3 minutes of silence after Mark's set, because Andy doesn't have an MC, because obviously he didn't during his Alive tour. He was just doing it on his J's, and they need to make sure that people do not leave that tent and have something to engage with, right? So obviously I'm shitting it, right? Because I don't, that stuff to me, at this point, I'm very much eyes closed, head down. I still am this guy, you know, in the majority of moments when I'm emceeing, but head down, eyes closed, looking at the floor, spitting my deep and meaningfuls in like medium-sized clubs in Southampton. Yeah, that's where I'm at. And then all of a sudden it's like, boom, 4,000 people, NAS. Your first show with Wilkinson, trial shift to be his MC. He's on RAM. It's like going to be like a real big look for you. It's going to be like game changer. And yeah, and then they're like, you've got to fill this silence. So then I've got one mate in my one ear being like, you're ready, bro. This is you got this. And another one's like, brother, have you seen how many people like winding me up, giving me that matey banter? So I've got the devil on one, that angel on the other. And I'm just there like shitting it, man. And I just remember, I think brandy and Coke is my drink at this point. And I backed quite a few in order to get on that stage with confidence. Did my thing, filled the silence with a bit of, you know, I'm always like, hey, it's the Visionobi, the worst comedy show, the worst like non-intended comedy show you'll attend all year, when I start saying stupid shit on a mic, which I still do to this day. But obviously, you know, I don't know what I said. I managed to keep people there. I managed to chat for 2-3 minutes. I managed to make people laugh a little bit. I was honestly, it was like, it was at that moment. And then, yeah, like came outside afterwards, and Wilco, just being the nice G that he was like, yeah, we don't need the other 2 trial shows. You're just on them. Like, it's calm. And then Sick. That was it. I was like his MC basically. Obviously, there was a pretty like heavy amount of rap that went on, but probably not as much as what I was doing in like Southampton deeper stuff, because obviously there's lots of vocals going on and stuff like that. Just tried to host it as best as I could. I've never been the most natural host. It was never my forte, something I have really had to learn. And that era with Wilco taught me to be a good host MC. I will always chime back to that and be like, without that era of my career, I wouldn't be anywhere near as good an MC as I am now. And I'm not from a lyrical perspective, just because I learned the importance of being a host. And before then, it's something that I did not care about and, barely sort of engaged with. I was just like a guy that wanted to leng bars on drum and bass sets or garage sets, as you well know. I still am that guy, but I do understand that helped me to understand the importance of commanding a crowd with hostability, alongside deeper conscious lyricism.
I think being a host it's a skill, it's a tool in the kit. It's not, I mean, I suppose this is my opinion, this bit, but it's not an identity. It's not like, oh, I am a host. It's like, nah, I'm hosting. There's a difference. Do you understand what I mean? But what I wanted to ask you, based on what you were just talking about then, like, learning this skill set of hosting, is for someone listening to this podcast who isn't an MC.
Yeah.
And how would you describe to them what hosting is? Like, what are the elements of hosting that make it important, and how do you host? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, it's so interesting, isn't it? Because we spend so much time as rappers focused on the alternative, and like, how can we craft, this intricate, really deep, conscious, clever bar that people can connect with on a level. And the hosting side of things seems like it should be so much more simple, but it's actually really not. It's like really quite complex. And it took that school of Wilco for me to learn how important, you are the conduit. You use that word all the time. Like, you're the conduit. And really, if I'm up there with like zero energy, what is that telling the crowd, right? It's not telling the crowd, oh, like, let's go nuts and have a sick time. So I would put first and foremost is just having an energy and a presence and confidence. Like, if at work, at the moment, like, if I have to like host a workshop or do like a presentation or stuff like that, I get crazy anxiety. Like before, when I did Joe Raygun's Best Man speech, crazy anxiety. I had to take myself off to a hotel room, do my Wim Hof in order to like chill my Wim Hof breathing to like bring myself back. And like the lead up, I hate it. I've done 2 Best Man speeches. Like, honestly, I find it so hard. And people are just like, why? Like, you literally stand up in front of like thousands of people with like the utmost confidence, and it's like, it's so funny, isn't it? Because how can I have so much confidence in that situation and then not in this other situation? But it's like, I'm not a stand-up comedian, and Best Man speech is that's what you got to be. And I'm in my work environment, I'm good at my job, but I'm not like seasoned, And I think that getting to that seasoned point of emceeing and just doing it rinse and repeat over and over again in order to get that confidence, that energy, that belief, and that kind of calm, because you need like all of that kind of like in a melting pot in order to be able to do things at the right moment, to not focus on what's in front of you, but also be aware of it. Like, you're not like hyper focused on it, but you know what you need to do in order to get that like moving and vibrating in a way that it needs to in order for the dance to like go off. And I'd still say, if there's anything I probably need to work on, if I was going to like sort of analyze myself as an MC, it would still be the hostability side of things, just rather than like the make some noise, like having some sort of more original, or having a bit more confidence to not shout as much but get that response like SP does, like he just commands it, so that the way that he asks for the noise, he just gets it, whereas I have to like shout for it to get it. And maybe it's because I lack that confidence to be like, I don't need to shout. Actually, I can just get it by saying the right thing at the right time, And it's like, it's such a refined art form that I think he has patterned harder than anybody in the game. I'll always say it. If you want to coin the host MC term, it's like him and GQ are the dons, you know. They just have them in the palm of their hand. It's like effortless. It's like, how do I do this? How do I get this like Jedi skill in order to be able to have that control and command? And yeah, I guess
it's beyond verbal, isn't it? It's beyond verbal. You know, like in terms of communication, what do they say? Like verbal is like 7% of communication. So like you imagine, like we're MCs, but only 7% of our communication ability is through our voice and our words. So like, yeah, it's almost like you said. I think you said the word persona. It's the energy. It's the stature. It's the physiology. It's all these things that the crowd are feeling and picking up on. And it's interesting what you said as well about, you know, people saying, "Oh, what you get nervous before a speech or a work presentation? You're an MC." But I can't. Obviously, I understand where they're coming from. But you got to look at the environments that we're in. You know, there's something very, quite literally, really, tribalistic about being a club or a rave. Everyone's marching to the beat of the drum, like tribal vibes. You know what I mean? Everyone's facing the same way. It's like a shared unity. And as the MC, you're in that. You're part of it. Okay, you're facing the crowd and you've got a mic in your hand and you're performing, but you're still, or certainly on a good night anyway, or a good event, like you're in it with them. But that's not like a best man speech, isn't that? Or like a work presentation isn't that, is it? Like maybe it is for some people, but you're with your tribe, like when you're in the rave or in the dance. And so yeah, it's when you dig a bit deeper, it's just not the same.
It's a good way of putting it, because it's like one of those gives me heightened anxiety. The other one is my place of calm and peace and escape.
It's you.
Yeah. And it's like, because it's all I've ever known, really, in a musical sense. Like I have literally dedicated my life to this music since I was 11 years old. I'm like 40 now, you know. This is like a 29-year long passion that hasn't facilitated a full-time career at any point apart from 6 months before COVID. And yeah, as a result, you know, the love and the dedication like cannot be questioned, because it's just,
it really can't. I was thinking about this earlier as well. I don't really pre-plan what I'm going to say or anything like that, like zero questions written down or anything, but I do remember multiple times talking to you, and just whether I said it to you at the time or not, or I came away just thinking about it, or maybe saying it to Danny, for instance, big up Excess. But like basically Rich's dedication and passion is fucking second to none. It really is second to none. Like I don't know anyone else in the scene who has the passion and commitment and dedication to this shit that you've got.
I appreciate that, bro. And
honestly, I'm not like blowing smoke up your ass or anything. That's just what I think, because you are in it. You're in it, bruv. Like you're properly in it.
It's all I've ever wanted, and I have put everything into it. So I guess sometimes when we meet up and we go into the moan zone, or sometimes I like question things, and like maybe in the past have been a bit bitter about stuff. It's because it's like the amount of work and effort I've put in to try and make it as an MC, and how the landscape has now changed in a way that, you know, how it was when I was like coming through. It was like, it was a very viable career choice until I was like 50. And it's like, I'm not far off that now. And I've not been able to emulate what some of my peers who are a bit older, because I do think I'm that guy from like the middle school. You're similar as well, really, that we came a little bit after the kind of like golden era. Even SP's the same, but he's like the guy that like patterned it in it and like managed to like build a really fruitful career out of it. But what we saw were like MCs at the forefront and like being championed and making loads of money and balling with your like Skibbers, your X-Mans and all this like early on. And then, you know, as you transition into kind of a different side of the scene that, you know, suits your personality better, and that you grow to like love and adore, and then all of a sudden you're like a host MC, and then you kind of like don't maybe like fit quite as well, because I just want to be lyrical. And then, you know, then we needed to become recording artists and stuff, which obviously, you know, I love that part of it. And I've had a lot of fun, you know, making albums and doing EPs and stuff. But the landscape changed. I evolved with it, but I just haven't, you know, managed to evolve in a way that I've been able to, you know, make it a full-time career. But I fundamentally think those spots are so limited because of the way that we look at MCs in this genre compared to the way that they're looked at in hip-hop or grime. I think that's the fundamental difference as to why you can look at 10 dons, not even in the deeper realms of drum and bass, probably they're actually able to do it full time. And I don't even think it's 10 in the deeper realms. Yeah.
So you put it like that, yeah. It's a tricky one, man. Like with a couple of things, like with the mid-school thing.
Yeah.
I do like that term. I think it's very fitting because like legacy is legacy. So like you obviously we're always going to say GQ. GQ has been there from inception, is still top man.
Yeah.
And then you've got new school is new school. So new, fresh, exciting artists are coming through, you know, doing their thing. And then you've got the mid school that are kind of consistent and they're part of the fabric and we're in it. But it just feels a bit trickier to find your, I don't know what I'm trying to say, like to navigate your way through it so you stay, so what you do feels true and aligned, but you're still sort of trying to evolve and move with the times, but do what like you actually enjoy and give a shit about at the same time. It's a tricky one, man. It is.
The mid school is so the millennial drum and bass generation. It's like we're so millennial. It's like our parents bought a house for this and sold it for this. We're sitting here like, what? Like, can't even afford a yard, mate. Like, you know, it's like, it literally is, it's just a direct copy and paste of like how, if, you know, society looks back at millennials and say like, it's like the screwed generation in that sense. It's like, that's us middle school bods. It's like, we weren't the legacy guys. We weren't there from inception. We didn't make loads of money off vinyl. We didn't get you know, as much money as the MCs used to make like back in the day relative to like inflation and stuff. And then, you know, now all the newbies are coming through like this Gen Z and it's like, social media. You know, we've been on this since we were like 8 years old, mate. Like we've got this on lock. But, you know,
but having said all of that, like what you said after that though is really true. And this is the interesting bit for us really doing what we do, is that it is so related to the genre that we're in because you know, you could argue that, no, that's not a good example actually, but really, when you look at other genres, when you look at the other genres that we've talked about during this conversation, the MC is the artist. Rap and hip hop, grime, you know, for instance, I was saying this to someone the other day, like, you don't, if you're talking about Wiley, for instance, I always come back to Wiley. I could be wrong, but I've never asked this question. Who's Wiley MCing for?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. It's Wiley. I'm there for Wiley.
Yeah.
Who's Dizzy hosting for? You just don't say that. Because it's almost a flip, isn't it? Like you go to, or Jest, we talked a lot about Jest. You go to see Jest. You don't go, I might go and see Jest, but like who's DJing for him?
Yeah.
Don't matter.
Yeah.
So, but in drum and bass, and obviously I'm saying this with the greatest of respect because this is my music and my culture and we love it. It's kind of a little bit like the flip reverse. It's like, here are all the DJs. Oh, and you've got Visionobi or Fokus or, you know, whoever MCing for them, or probably multiple sets across the night. So I feel like it's the only, and even in like, well, I was going to say even in the jump up side of things, the MC is a bit more prevalent. But do you know what? As I'm saying this, I'm already thinking in my own head, like, actually, this isn't right what I'm saying because things are changing. Things are changing. So there are MCs from the deeper side of drum and bass who are out there as their own artists. Obviously, you probably guess who I'm going to say, like DRS is. I was going to say DRS, but DRS, Dusky. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe
the thing with that though. The thing with that is like that's the rise of the vocalist, isn't it? Us as vocalists and recording artists. We're then moving it into a different realm, which has been a hugely positive move for MCs in D&B, without a doubt. Like, it
is a tricky one because then it's like, well, do you have to be an artist? In 2026, does the MC have to be an artist? And I kind of feel like my gut instinctual answer to that would be yes. But then it doesn't take long to think, well, hold on a minute. You know, there's always examples of the opposite, isn't there? But I don't know, man. Maybe actually thinking that the more I'm thinking about it now, all the people that I listen to are like, even like GQ, even like, you know, Top Legacy, man. He is making tracks now and he's vocal in track, which is great to hear. Like his tone on I heard a track he's done with L-Side. His tone in a studio environment, it sounds so sick to hear that. It's great, isn't it? But yeah, maybe you got to be shit. Maybe we've just been behind the times like for too long. Like all these other people have been artists, like Lethal B and all of this lot, Skibber, like they've been artists from so much sooner. Maybe we were just trying to hang on to like just being, you know, just being an MC.
I agree. Yeah, like
maybe it's us.
It is 100%.
We need to fix up.
That's what I mean. Like, it would be a criticism, and it's like it's about that kind of like on that journey, realizing these things and evolving. But I would say definitely evolved quite late into that one, because I was sort of sticking to my guns as being like, I just remember Skibber, Shabba, Merc in a rave, and it's like I want to be that guy, but deeper realms of D&B. But yeah, and I literally I totally agree. Yeah, and it's a critique I'll 100% like own, because yeah, at the end of the day, things evolve, and if you don't move with the times, you just get left behind, right? So
yeah, absolutely, and your evolution is evident. But I don't want to skip. Like, we could easily now just start talking about your artistry and your back catalogue, but that would miss out. And I really, really do want to get into that fairly soon, actually. But I feel like that would miss out a massive chunk, because you kind of stopped. You started talking about linking up with Wilkinson.
Yeah.
And there's still a massive gap really between that bit and like all of your latest studio work.
So with Wilco, for 2 years, I basically toured Europe. Like, he was, Afterglow came out, it blew up. I was going all around Europe. In the UK, at big shows, we'd have Becky Hill. I'd be introducing the vocalists and stuff. Afterglow was huge. He really, really blew up at that point, right? So I'm spending my week, I'm working full time in the week. I'm booking Fridays off if I need to, and I'm doing a Friday and Saturday show somewhere in Europe, and then I'm back to work on Monday morning. At this point, I'm on it in a different way, and it's like crazy, but I've got mad energy at this point in my life. I'm just like, yes, this is everything I ever wanted in one way, not like from a lyricism perspective, but from a touring artist perspective and just a life experience perspective, something I'm just so thankful for, because yeah, how busy I was when I was working with him is still the busiest I've like ever been. I wasn't getting paid loads of money, because obviously at that point, you know, you sort of come in, I was on like $250 a show or whatever. I didn't care. £500 for a weekend to go travel around Europe, bless, you know, sometimes a little bit more, but I wasn't really a known guy outside of Southampton then. A little bit, I guess. I'm playing a few critical bits here and there. At this point, don't think I'm really in the Shogun camp yet. I'm probably not quite at the metalhead side of things yet. And then I guess just to kind of, yeah, so I obviously had a prolific kind of 2 years being a host MC for Wilkinson. And then fundamentally, I think Rec was very clever, and was like, my man is like blowing up, you know, like he's the sky is the limit for him. So really, I didn't fit the MC blueprint that I think he wanted to see. He wanted more of a host MC, you know, someone who's going to do the call and response, the hands in the air wave and all this shit, you know, and it's that is not my bag. And he tried to like mold me, like, fair play to him, like tried to like tell me what to do and stuff. But, you know, fundamentally as artists, I don't think that ever really works, or is, you know, it definitely not going to work with me, because I didn't come here to be a you know, some sort of like side chick, for lack of a better like turn of phrase. I wanted to really be like the main event and do my artistry the way that I'd always imagined doing it. And I guess I was very lyric heavy. And yeah, like, you know, probably quite a bad influence on Mark as well, if I'm totally honest. Like, we were getting mash up and having the best time. And I think, you know, I've had some crazy years. Like, I'm a menace, always the last guy up at the afters in that era in my life. And I think, you know, a very sort of a very calculated and solid business decision was made by his management company. And, you know, we became like really close mates over that 2 years. It's like, obviously you go through cycles with people, I suppose. And, you know, I ended up, I think, a critical show I was booked for, I got it. There's a Wilkinson show come up, and I was like, I want to do the critical show. And they were kind of like, you know, that's like probably black mark number 3 next to my name at this point, because I haven't sort of changed my fashion sense to suit what they wanted. I haven't, you know, started saying less on a mic. I've sort of said that I would, but then not given up my lyrics. I'm like clinging on and still spitting bars. So I'm like, fuck you, I've got bars, you know? And then, yeah, I think the critical show, I wanted to do a critical show because it was more me, you know? And I think by taking that critical show, wherever it was, that was the final nail in the coffin. Adapt replaced me on that show. Not replaced me, they got him to do it instead. And then I think they saw something and were like, okay, this guy is a much better host MC than Rich. He's going to be willing to be molded into what we want him to be. He's already more what we want him to be. It's all those kind of things. And yeah, then the like very difficult decision from everyone was had. I know Mark was like super upset. I was really upset at the time. I sort of, you know, I think that's probably, I remember speaking to Stu again, SP, about it when this sort of situation happened to me later in my career. And he's like, that must have hurt you, because he remembers talking to me about the Wilkinson one and being like, that's tough, man, you know, like someone telling you how to be and, you know, not appreciating you for the hard work you've put in for 2 years and stuff. And then, yeah, we went our separate ways. I called up Anthony, man, like Ant TC1. Absolute don, and was just like, yo, I'm not doing the Wilkinson thing anymore. I didn't have an agent when I was with Mark. I was handling all my own bookings because it was just like through his agent. It was just easy for me to invoice them and get paid. There was no need, you know. It was all Wilkinson shows, or Kazra had come to me direct and stuff. I was handling all my stuff direct. And I phoned up Ant and I was like, yo, I'm not doing the Wilco thing anymore. I've been fired.
How did they deliver? When you say been fired, because I was asking this, so I'll quickly say it now. Like, how was it delivered? Was it like call you into an office, or was it?
Nah, do you know what? Mark phoned me. He lived in Richmond, and I was living in Stratford at the time, I think, with my ex, probably. I think I would have been living in Stratford at the time with my ex. I'm pretty sure. And yeah, Mark phoned me. Like, respect to him phoning me, because it was a tough phone call. And I'm sure what Mum was saying, but I could tell he was in tears on the other end of the phone. Like, it was a big deal to him, which meant a lot to me, because I was upset. I was less upset about losing the kind of the gig side of it. It was more the friendship that I was upset about, because I knew it meant we weren't going to be spending every weekend together, and he'd become like a really big part of my life, and he'd changed my life, like, you know, had made like dreams of mine come true, you know, 30,000 people at Exit Festival. I've still never played to more people than that, you know. Wow. Mad when you think about it. Like, I mean, who gets the opportunity to do something like that? And it's like full main stage. It will probably be the craziest, biggest stage I ever play on. It was nuts. And yeah, like, he phoned me, which I really respected him for. He told me what was going down. He's like, look, John wants to go with Adapt. Like, he's like, you know, and yeah, we had a conversation, you know, nice emotional one. And it was like, yeah, and that was kind of it. And it was the right decision for everybody involved, you know. At the time, I'm not going to pretend like it didn't really hurt. Like that kind of rejection as a creative is tough. I've had it a lot of times in my career. I've had it from friends, like close friends of mine since, and it's just like, no matter what happens, it's always deep for someone to tell me how to do my job. It's like, you've employed me. Do you want me for me, or you want to change me? Like, no one wants to be changed. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm me. Like, let me just be me and express myself how I want to express myself. You want to work with me or you don't. And I'm quite matter of fact like that, and have been since that moment, because that's what it taught me. It's like, I will always stick to my guns. I don't care. Like, I want to be unapologetically me. People connect with what I do, even if it's a small amount of people, that's fine, because at least I'm being authentic and true to myself and the craft that I have lived and breathed since I was 11 years old,
That's it. Really, they set you free. They set you free because, like, whilst it was sick experiences, sounds like a lot of fun, like a bit of a taste of the music industry, the actual music industry in inverted commas, but it wasn't aligned. It's not who you really are. And then they set you free to go on to, and then the next door opens.
Literally, yeah. I was getting bored as well, actually, towards the end of it, because it was like the same set over and over again. So then, anyway, I'm let go. 80% of it, because it's that big room stuff in it. You got to play all your tunes. It's like it was all in the same order. It was like, that's how it was. It's like more of a pop style of an artist, which is, fair play. That's what he came to do. He's destroyed this, he's killed it. Like, the sky is the limit. He smashed it. Like, ratings, nothing but ratings and love. But yeah, wasn't for me, really. So yeah, I've called up Ant. I've gone, Ant, help. I'm like, I've stopped this thing. I want to, I'm wondering if you want to take me on. I've seen Basic. You got a bunch of artists I think are cool. You're affiliated with Metalheads, like, pretty much my favorite label in drum and bass since the start. I had this like new lease of life again, I think, actually, because I'd obviously got stuck. We got stuck in a bit of a rut towards the end of the Wilco thing, because I wasn't fundamentally doing what I wanted to do anyway, so, but was clinging on to the kind of touring aspect of it rather than the actual musicality and the art form of what I was able to do on those sets. So I call out.
You probably needed a bit of a break, because, like you said, you're working full time.
Yeah.
And doing the tours. I mean,
that's
a lot.
I was probably heading to burnout, actually. It's a good observation.
Lot,
yeah. If it had been another couple of years, it probably would have got dicey, because, like I said, I was a mash head back then, so I could never say no to the sesh. So it was always just go, go, go. But yeah, anyways, I called Ant. He's gone, yep, sweet. We'll get you on Basic. Were you on Basic at that time? I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure I was. Yeah,
you were, weren't you? I think you were, yeah. And he's like, brought me on board. And yeah, because you were the Dispatch MC, and then I became the Metalheads MC, innit?
Yeah, pretty much.
And kept you lock off for himself. Big up, Ant. But yeah, he knew what he was doing.
Anyone who's not sure who Ant is, so Ant TC1 is originally he's from Leeds, isn't he? Originally, I hope I got that right.
I think just
from Leeds.
Outside
anyway,
of
he founded Dispatch Recordings, which is a drum and bass label. Both myself and Rich have released a fair bit of music on there, and worked with the artists from that label. And then Ant became basically runs Metalheads, which is obviously Goldie's seminal drum and bass label that most people, I'm sure, will have heard of. So yeah, Ant TC1. That's him in a nutshell, just in case.
I think Goldie saw a special skill set in Ant of being like, this guy lives and breathes this shit as much as me, and he's hard working, and he's going to do everything possible to make a label that he has looked up to his entire life run as smoothly and efficiently and successfully as possible. And my God, has Ant done that? Like, I've got so much respect for Ant. Yeah, he sort of saved me from that situation, brought me into Basic, ended up, it was like so refreshing, man. I was like doing all of a sudden I was the Metalheads MC. Like, that is, even I look back now and I'm like, to be fair, it's something I miss a lot of, which we can get into in a piece, but it's that whole like agency connection piece, isn't it? That unfortunately kind of dictates who you play for. And like I, was at Basic for a while doing all the metalhead shows, man. It was crazy, and that became like Goldie's. I was Goldie's host for like a year. I think he had Sense for a bit, then he had Codebreaker for a bit, then he had me for a bit, and then eventually, I think I had a dry few months in my calendar at Basic, and I panicked and kind of jumped ship. And I actually look back on that as maybe not. It's one of those decisions that I'm not saying it just wasn't the best decision, because I think I would have actually spent the next 2 years, I think, busier on Basic actually, because it was more fitting for what I was doing, and I was obviously working with Goldie, and then obviously then Medic kind of took that position over from me because I'd left, and it's like, even though, I know Ant will always be like, oh, it's not a Metalheads agency, and it's like, yeah, no, it's cool. And it's not, because now I'm on Makino, I occasionally get Metalheads shows, it does happen. But there's obviously alliances there, and when you move from one to the other, you lose something, innit? So unfortunately,
it's kind of just how it goes, isn't it? There's all sorts of stuff, like business decisions essentially, that just happen behind the scenes, and everyone's got their people that they're affiliated with, and promoters check for certain people, and there's a whole world. We could probably do a whole podcast episode about the world of agents and promoters and all the stuff that the average person that listens to music and goes out raving would possibly have no idea about.
That'd be like our production chat.
Which I'd be quite up for doing that sometime, and not because it's like really controversial. We're like, oh, we lift the lid on this. Nothing like that. It's just like there's just little. I just think people would find it interesting of just how things work. Like as a really quick example, because I do want to bring it back to you. A quick example of what we're talking about is essentially a promoter. I've had it loads of times. A promoter wants to book me. They phone me up and say, I want to book you. I can't book you because I have to book either MC A, B or C if I'm booking that DJ. And their agent said to them, no, you can't. You have to book that MC or that one or that one. And they're like, I'm really sorry, I can't book you. And it's just how it goes. But I get it, because if I was that artist, I'd want my certain people with me as well. Just like in my little dream world, if I could just do Fokus presents Flowcase forevermore, it would always be excess on the decks. Like, it's how it goes, isn't it? You work with your people. I find that one really difficult, because doesn't make it any less annoying.
It's just like, I don't understand why DJs get to dictate that. And I actually I think we lost some of the essence along the way from a promotional standpoint when we stopped letting promoters do DJ MC pairings. And let's not pretend we can't always get it always goes according to plan. It doesn't. But isn't that the beauty of it? Why do we need everything to be perfect? Because it's not. Fundamentally, I think there's a lot of those partnerships that have been, can go a bit stale almost. And it'd be nice to hear some sort of alternative. And fundamentally, why are we lacking? Why are we, maybe not so much these days, but why have we been lacking fresh, new MC talent in D&B in comparison to like grime and hip hop? Like, look at the cards in front of us and ask ourselves the question, why is that the case? And it's like, what are we doing as a scene to encourage young up and coming talent to believe that this is a space that is welcoming and both, gonna be like a productive and fruitful sort of decision if they're thinking, oh, what music am I going to go rap to? It's like the gates are so closed off to that talent in my eyes, because you've got a small pool of MCs that have patterned like you got 50 DJs who are using like seven MCs, like pretty much. And it's like that ratio kind of kills it a bit for me. And even like, I'm a guy that's paired up with certain people, and if that pairing came along, how are you going to say no to that when someone reaches that height? Because like the Wilkinson thing, all of a sudden if I could go touring with Galaxy every weekend and play 2 shows a weekend with them, and they blow up to that level, I'm obviously going to be like, this is my opportunity. This is what I've worked for. As long as, you know, they'd have me and not join the crew of people that parred me off over the years. We'll see. Pending. Hold tight, John and Tom. Yeah, but like it's so difficult because I get it from on one side, but I also really miss that carefully crafted kind of grassroots promoter that's been able to book whoever he wants. And I do also think that actually the power is in those promoters' hands, because if they go, okay, no worries, I won't book you, you think that agent's not going to go, hold on a minute, Fokus, like one of the sickest MCs in the game, goes, talks to his artist like, yo, this guy ain't going to book you unless you play with Fokus. Is that guy turning down that $1.5 grand? Of course he's not.
Yeah. It's almost like a cooler bluff situation, isn't it?
It 100% is. And I actually tell people that. I'm like, nah, like, just tell them, like, no. But people, noticeably, I get it, because they want that artist on their booking. I find this really conflicting, this one, you know. I don't want to turn this into a moan zone, because I'm very like...
It's not a moan zone, it's a reality zone.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think we're doing a good job of unpacking it from both sides, because both being artists, then whilst I totally agree with everything you just said, then I kind of flip it around. I think, oh God, I can't be a hypocrite here, because if I could regularly work with two or three DJs that I really rate, DJ/producers, I'd be happy with that. Yeah. And then you get that familiarity, you get that vibe, you know, like they're going to play music that you love.
Surely you got more than that, man. I got like 30.
Oh, yeah, maybe I'm just saying.
Like 40.
Really? No, mine definitely ain't that many.
Yeah, but you're thinking
it might be
of
double figures max, but
you're
I'm
thinking
from
a like finesse. You want dungeon fucking. You want
Don't
your
try and pigeonhole me off, Rich.
I'm pigeonholing you.
Yeah, I do want dungeon.
You want your dungeon able to kind of like rap to like non-vocal. And look, I get it. And obviously, there's certain people for me. Like if I could just play with Skeptical every week, I would be able to like rinse my 64 bars and they'd land, because you'd be able to hear them above the tracks that he's playing. Same with Excess, you know, it's that same sound really. It's like it would work. I get it, but I kind of like being put in situations where I think like, oh, this is a bit different. I got to craft it. And like, you know, you halogenics, break, workforce, breakage. Basically, most of the man that SP has got lock off, I would be like, I'd happily be working with all of them, and have worked with all of them at some point in my career, you know. But I would keep the pool a bit wider in order for me to just have a little bit more variety. And I think I'd learn a lot, and I would evolve even more as an MC. Don't get me wrong, it'd be nice to pattern the thing with a few, but it'd still be nice to have, you know, you've got your regular circle, but also you still get booked. That's why I think, you know, I know DRS is doing a different thing these days, because he's like the focal point, and that's the alternative, isn't it? You become the focal point and you have your DJ for you. Well, which is levels.
That's what I was going to say. Or you do exactly what you have done, and, you know, you've really got me into this wavelength as well, is that, well, okay, there's the next step to that is just do it all yourself and be the fully-fledged artist, and then you get to control the selection. You get to, every single track you draw is the one that you want. And then once you've had a taste of that, it's kind of tricky to get out of that headspace again. But I get it. Like I don't get it twisted. Like I think that you're right, the variation. But I think it's for me, it's not necessarily, I'm not thinking about it just from a musical perspective. I'm thinking about it from a synergy perspective, where you just roll in when the circle's tight, you just got that. No, it doesn't have to be a tight circle. When you've got that synergy with however many people, it's just such a nice feeling to be on a set, and you've just got that quick look over, and you just know what's going to happen, and the vibes roll in. So I think that's something that I really crave, actually, have craved, and starting to feel like I'm finding it a little bit, you know, at the moment. But having said that, I don't think there's anything wrong with just doubling down on the sound that you really love.
Yeah, no, it
So,
works
mate, there's
both
so
ways.
the funny thing
Yeah.
is, there's basically, as people can probably tell from this conversation, like there's no right answer. There's so many ways to do it, and really, you can do what the fuck you want to do. That's what it
Yeah.
comes down to.
Yeah, I agree. And at the end of the day, if I was the guy that had everything patterned and lock off, I wouldn't be complaining.
Exactly.
So
And
it's like,
who knows, man? Like I think
well, we're the next generation in it, and it's like we're now building links with the people, or have been for a long time, the people that, you know, we've come through with and have that vibe with. But again, I will reiterate that I think a lot of those are middle school, and then no offense to them or myself, but we're just not as prolific and as busy because we fall into that sort of crater, that, you know, that black hole of not being the legacy and not being the new school that's really good at social media. And unfortunately,
we're just the people that try to just stay as the MC for too long, maybe. Because also, I think what kind of feeds into this conversation, because you were saying about where's the new exciting younger talent. If I looked at drum and bass, then the people that fit, I'm not saying they're really young, and but you know, they're fresh talent. Let's just forget age and stuff. Fresh talent. For me, the people that are fresh talent in our world of D&B are essentially artists that have come in, who see themselves as artists, and they're probably coming in with a background in a genre other than D&B.
Yeah.
You know, so like Verbs, for instance. Do you know what I mean? Amazing artist, sick. But I'm sure, like, I'd have had him on the podcast. You know, he would classify himself as a rapper. Do you know what I mean? He's a fully fledged MC, rapper, artist, or, you know, someone like Ellis Esco. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not got into it as a D&B MC.
Yeah.
He's been writing like hip hop tracks and producing beats and stuff for years.
Yeah.
And now, you know, it's clearly evident he sounds sick over D&B, and there's a whole lane for that.
Yeah.
And it works really well. So I feel like the fresh, exciting artists aren't really D&B MCs. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
That's what I meant when I said it. It's like we end up.
Right, okay.
Also, the other thing of that is we end up. Then it's like a double-edged sword, because we go, oh, we need that artist on a DME track, and we go, oh, let's go get someone from Grime. Let's go get someone from hip hop. And it's like there's no nurturing, because we're in this cycle of putting MCs on the back burner that I think we're actually just shot ourselves in the foot. And there's nothing wrong with going and getting people from those genres, but that's kind of, it just enhances the point that I made. You know, it's like it's so difficult to see where that grassroots drum and bass talent is coming from, because fundamentally it's not being drawn here, because what are we offering them? We're offering them a you know, no monitor, a space like a space in the back, as far background as you can possibly be, and some shit fee when you play for twice as long. It's like there's no incentive. Who's gonna come through and be like, yeah, I'll do that, rather than be front man in a grime ting, the one earning the P? It's like, you know, I'm branching out into other genres because I'm like, this BPM actually suits me really well and my message, and I want to be. I want more. Like, I want more. I'm hungry still. And it's like, go on.
Well, I was say, just to play devil's advocate though, maybe we're still stuck in that mid-school mindset.
Of course.
Because maybe like it's not even about, like, you know, there's so many different ways now to sell your music direct to the consumer and build a fan base without being the guy that has to like do loads of gigs with no monitor and do a 3-hour set for a shit fee and all this sort of stuff. Like, so I'm just kind of like with a smile on my face saying, maybe it is us that needs to change. And we are changing. This is the whole point. We are changing. We are evolving. And I don't know what route to go down with this, because we could talk about this forever, but I'm like kind of conscious that we've almost been talking for 2 hours and we haven't even touched on any of your studio work yet.
Yeah.
And back catalogue, and that's like such an interesting part of you. So
we're almost there, aren't we? We're there, aren't we, now? Basic.
Yeah, well, you know, like we've just had a little riff there talking a bit about like industry stuff and, you know, our opinions on the scene and all this sort of stuff. I just think as well sometimes, like, I don't know, man, like, is is it even down to the scene? What is the scene? What is the D&B scene, for instance? Like, just feel like individuals can just do what they want now. As individuals can build their own platforms. Individuals can make their own, create their own label or create their own channel or whatever it is. Does the scene is the scene even responsible for doing anything?
No, I mean, it's a really good point.
Because I think the scene will just maintain the status quo, generally speaking. I think it's the individuals that can choose to make a bit more of a difference.
I think for me, I've just decided recently I'm going to be even more different and unique, and actually just really stick to my guns like more than ever, and just do exactly what I want to do, because then there is a lack of expectation. I don't expect anything anymore. I used to expect a lot.
Okay.
I used to expect that. I used to think I was almost owed stuff, because it's like I've been here for so long.
Drum and bass owes me money.
Hey, not owes me money. Like more like owes me some sort of.
Because that was back in the day. That was it Ragga Twins? Like Reggae owes me money, and then did Det do a version?
I remember,
of it, but yeah.
But yeah,
so
more
you
like
go to expectation.
Yeah, just because, you do, when you become so loyal to something for so long, you expect it to reward your loyalty, right? And I just think drum and bass, the scene has evolved so much, and it's not the scene anymore, like you just said, that loyalty kind of isn't rewarded, and you need to evolve in order to get your dues, which I think I have done and I'm doing now more than ever, because I'm going into other genres, like more back to my sort of garage roots and garage BPM, to kind of reach an alternative audience, because I actually think my message will be better received over the music that I'm making with like one particular producer outside of drum and bass. We can get to that.
Okay, well, I feel like I don't even know about this at all.
I'll not tell you about it.
It's a dubplate info. Nah, I don't feel like I know about this.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting you to be talking about other genres.
Yeah, so I don't really want to say what it is, because I feel like it's so unique that no one's really kind of doing it, and I like that. Yeah. But like, cool. It's kind of like a garagey tempo kind of thing, but it has its own flair and its own. It's very user friendly, and it's not. I didn't intend it like that. It's just the way that it kind of, whenever I've worked over that kind of BPM with my like deep conscious message, it's just the way that it unfolded, and I think it's really very palatable, and I think it could be a game changer for me. That's what I'm hoping anyway.
So is this are you just whetting our appetites here? This is like watch this space.
Yeah, this year, 100%. I think I did mention it to you. Remember I said I was manifesting the shit out of it in 2026. I'm like here just speaking stuff into existence, and I just found my producer, I would say. Wicked. I've been looking for him for a long time for this project. This project is something that I've been trying to get going for about 5 years, maybe longer. And I just kept asking people, got some stuff going with drum and bass guys on alternative flex. I gave the brief of what artists I wanted it to sound like in the genre of music I'm talking about. It's sort of a garagey-esque vibe, but it's different anyway. And I kind of like fed that out into my friendship circle within drum and bass, and got some tunes back and got some stuff going. But, everyone's like, oh, I've got this project I'm working on, I haven't got the time and stuff like that. And then I just found this producer that was like so excited by my passion, my energy, and my sort of thirst and belief in what I was going to do in this other genre of music, that he's just reeling off the brief and just different versions of the brief. And then I'm like writing stuff so easily to it. And then I'm sending him the vocals from the ideas that didn't come to fruition with the other producer. And he's like, I've done this. And it's like totally different to the example track I sent him, but it like works. And it's like, it's so different, man. I'll be, when I talked about the 128 lengths that I've done on my drum and bass tracks, I'm like, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anyone's done 128 bar long hip hop rap verses over D&B before. I could be wrong. The one person I say maybe he's done it is Shotter, but I don't know.
Okay.
But just a straight length verse, no hook, no nothing. You know, I did it with Self Love on an emo tip on my Open Book EP, and I did it with Modus Operandi, the title track from my most recent EP. And they're two things that's like just shouldn't work in the modern day, you know, and especially in drum and bass. It's like drum and bass, the you know, the industry that we live in, it's like all this conversation kind of leads in quite nicely to this, 'cause it's like we're not allowed to do that. You know, it's like that's like a
structure, like a verse and an 8 or a chorus and a hook and what like 16 or whatever it is.
And you didn't let the music breathe, mate. Like where the music didn't have time to breathe. You just rapped over the whole thing. You know, it's all about me being like, fuck off to that, basically. Being like, fuck you. This is what I came to do. And actually those 2 tracks have done pretty well as far as like my numbers go on Spotify. And it's something totally different to what anyone else has done. And that's what this other project, same ways. I'm just going off-piste. I'm doing things my own way. I'm trying to be radical, so radical that it's like, fuck, that's weird, but it works. Why does that work? And hoping to tap into a whole like new channel of, sort of obviously I know the people that love what I do are actually going to be like, fucking hell, like this is sick. Wicked. And then hoping to, grab a bunch of other people that don't even know me from D&B.
Well, you bring your existing fan base along with you. And then venture out and get some new ones as well, some new listeners, some new ears. Yeah, it's exciting, man. I look forward to.
I'll send you some stuff after this, because I don't mind but I just don't want to put it out there and then someone goes and that's a good idea, and then like if I explain it fully, then goes and does it like before me. It's like it's important to me to be like, this is unique. I've done this, it's a bit different from anything that anyone else is doing. You know, that's what's important to me. I think it's, as a creative, that's what you're striving for, right? To be unique, to be radical, to be different, to be groundbreaking. It's like something that, I guess I learned a lot of it from DRS. Mm-hmm. DRS I would look at as, where I've got Jest, I've got DRS, and that's my hip hop biggest influence, my drum and bass biggest influence, and then, I'll put SP in there for like, the host influence. And between those 3 MCs, I would say they're the ones that really, in my sort of evolution era of becoming Visionobi from Furious, that kind of early channel was Jest. Then I heard SP and I was like, rah, this guy raps like me, but he's doing it on D&B. Like, what? How's he getting away with this halftime rapping? I want to do what that guy's doing, And I was already doing it. And it was like, he gave me validation for that. Yeah. And then it was like the recording artist aspect of things. Then it was like, rah, DRS is like my Jest on drum and bass. Mm-hmm. He's even done a tune with Jest.
Yeah.
And he's just,
and he's got albums and he does shows and.
Yeah. And it's
not MCing at a rave type thing. It's like a jazz cafe type thing as well.
Yeah. Love that.
Mad.
And he's this also just warm character that backed me before the London man that I was, close to. Never saw me as competition, I always give him props whenever I talk about, do interviews or stuff. I've always got to look back on that and just being like someone who gave me belief by sort of backing me from early, and has always been about the greater good, bringing everyone together. Like, look at what he helped create with like Manchester. Like, he's the driving force behind Manchester taking over London, like for MC culture, really. Like it did, like it was all London centric, and then DRS came and went, nah, listen to my lot, and brought all these guys and everyone, Manchester, even now, really, like arguably you'd be like, in a drum and bass sense, if you pitch like strategy, like I know all these MCs are versatile and they work on numerous different genres, but if you take all their money MCs and you pitch them against the London ones, it's like, it's going to be a real interesting clash. And Manny, for me, probably going to win, just because of what I'm into. But like, he changed that, he brought a whole sound through.
Not against the Garden City boys, mate, they're not.
The OG.
You're the finest MCs from the Garden Cities. No, I get what you're saying, man. It's such a melting pot, isn't it, in Manchester? And like you said, a lot of them guys, they're multi-genre artists as well.
Yeah, again, it's that artist thing. That's what I kind of was tapping into. He showed me how to be that artist. Now, I bet Dusky probably looked at him as like, right, he's the guy. Like, that's, you know, maybe he cited him. I would like to think he cites him as an influence of, you know,
and
one of the reasons.
It's so understated as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So understated. What I mean is understated what DRS does. It's not in your face with it. I don't think maybe like, who knows, maybe it's the algorithm, but I don't think I hardly ever see him on bloody Instagram talking about stuff. Or it's just, it pops up now and again, but you know he's there. He's solid foundation, but he's not in your face with it. Do you know what I mean? Is it the same for you? Do you think that?
I think because I'm like, I see everything he posts, but that's because I think I interact with it. But you are right in what you're saying. I don't think he's not that he's not that prolific guy out here putting social media at the forefront. He's someone who's releasing more tunes a year than every single producer in the game.
He's his prolific. I can't think of the bloody word I'm trying to say.
Legacy.
His version of being prolific. It's music. It's the music he makes. It's not like, oh yeah, bloody social media content. That's something I've realised about in the last year. I don't want to go off topic, I'll say it quickly, is that it's time, I'm talking to myself here, it's time to stop talking all the time about the thing. Just go and fucking do the thing. I kind of forgot that for a while. Because I've got to be online talking about it all the time. And it's like, well, just imagine if you just stopped doing that and spent a few months in the studio and then you had a whole bunch of music. And I'm kind of saying this to myself, and I'm like, oh yeah, shit. That's what it's really about. Get caught up in this whole creating content and sort of looking like, you know, just being active for the sake of being active sometimes.
It's interesting for me to hear you say that, because I feel like you have really upped your game with the content, and I think it's standing you in really good stead. And I think your content is very, very real, like very honest and very well thought out and put together. And I think, you know, I mean that with like real high praise and acclaim. It's something that I look at you doing and I'm like, mad respect. And everything you said before, obviously yes, but like, don't stop doing what you're doing at the moment, because it's definitely...
Big up for saying that. That's given me a sanity check. But equally, you know, you could say, well, just... if you're a music artist, just go make some flipping music. You know what I mean? Go and write some stuff. And you have been doing that. Back to you, because you have been doing that. You have been doing that. I actually went on a bit of a Visionobi rabbit hole deep dive today.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Do you know, I'm just gonna be completely honest, right? And I feel like I kind of like shouldn't say this, but when I deeped your back catalogue earlier, I was like, fucking hell, like, I didn't realise you'd put out so much music. Some of these tracks had gone over my head.
Yeah. It's easy,
and I went in and I fully immersed myself and sat in almost like a meditative state today, taking it all in, bro, because you've been busy. You've been busy. Since you put your album out, so you put an album out in 2023, that was your debut album, Weather the Storm. Yeah? Since then, it's just like, how important was your relationship with Solvent in terms of being so prolific yourself in putting out all this music?
Really important, to be honest, because Solvent is like just the most beautiful thing for me, because at a time when I was affiliated with a number of different labels, and at a time throughout my career, you know, those situations, I'm this label's MC, you move agency, I'm this label's MC, another MC comes along, and all of this is going on, right? And then I'm sending it out to a bunch of different people, and then like Solvent come along and like they just back it, and they just back me, and they give me the creative freedom through Hospital with my album, because they were obviously they had been bought by Hospital at that point. So we had the Hospital machine pushing that album.
To be fair, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they had the hospital machine pushing that album, and I had to go have meetings at hospital. I was using the hospital studio to record it, and it was great. If you look at the numbers on that album, you can really see the influence that that had, because the hospital machine is what it is. It's a weapon, right? It's a big weapon, and it really helped push that album to, I think, limits that, like, no offense to Solvent, but it probably wouldn't have reached without that extra, without that. You've got an office worth of people, right, working alongside the label to make it work. Obviously now they're not part of Hospital anymore. I obviously had like a 2-album deal with the guys, and I'm honouring it, but I'm just honouring it in EPs. So we've done 2 EPs since then. I've basically done an EP a year, I think, haven't I? Or maybe I didn't do anything in 2024. I just had a couple of releases, and then I think, I'm checking.
Yeah, I just want to get them up again, because I was just like, wow, there's so much music here. So yeah, the album dropped in 2023.
Yeah.
And then you had the
it's how good my memory is. I have to look at my releases on Spotify to remember.
But mate, you've done a lot. So Open Book was the end of 2024.
Yeah. Okay. So it was. So the year after, we had Open Book, and then this year I've had my Modus Operandi EP. Yeah. So we've staggered the singles and dropped them all out. But yeah, honestly, super professional. Always contracts, always splits, always royalties.
Nice.
Super on it. Got honestly nothing but praise. I think the aesthetic, I really like this artist we've had doing the artwork for us, keeping a level of consistency, and
with the latest stuff you're talking about, Modus Operandi, and
I think he did my
Nama.
Yeah, that one, and then but he also did the Open Book one as well.
Oh, okay.
It's the same guy.
I love the artwork for the latest batch of singles.
Yeah, me too.
That I don't know how you describe. I can't think of the word I was going to use now. But yeah, the same kind of image, but in the different colours.
Do you know what it reminds me of? That thing, if you look at it for long enough, it reminds me of like one of the aliens from District 9.
Okay.
Which is one of the reasons I loved it so much. But it's weird to say that, but yeah.
What I really liked as well is that, because I think some people kind of associate you, or maybe it's just you that call yourself this, but like it's like Visionobi is the liquid guy. But I don't feel that's really. I don't think of you like that. And I mean, I know you have a passion for what people call liquid D&B, but I just, I listen to like the self-love. The Open Book EP, like that Oculus tune.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's deep. And then so that's grittier. Do you know what I mean? Like full bars, but grittier. And then you got self-love, like really introspective, like super honest. Just breaking down, some personal stuff there on the record, so you do, and I think always have done, both sides of the coin.
Yeah, agreed. I said at the beginning, didn't I, when I was like that jump up era, and I like sort of evolved. It's like I've always kept, I still do double time bars. Like I will always keep that grittier side to me. I'm 2 sides to the story. I have many different emotions and feelings, and I will try and encapsulate whatever I'm feeling in a track. That's just how I have always been. It's just now it's tracks and not just lyrics, saying, if I look at my lyric repertoire, it's like, oh yeah, someone's playing like, some aggy, like crunchy thing. I'm like, my brain will chuck me all the ones.
Open that folder.
Yeah, and it'll be like one of these ones. Then it's like liquid. It's like, it will be like, oh, one of them like 20 bars or whatever. And I think I've been good at doing that in a live environment for so long. I think I managed to pattern that really well by remembering, I was like counting. I've got an insane amount of like lyrics that I use in a live environment. It's like over 100 that are like active. Which I obviously I don't use. I don't reckon I'm not using more than like 40 of them at the moment, because I don't remember them, which is why I haven't written down. But in my notes and from the Galaxy mixes that I did, the development mix and the first one we did, it was named after their EP. Shit, can't even remember. That's really bad. But I did 2 mixes with Galaxy with sort of a bit modeled on like Space Age, I guess. Like I just watched what they were doing, and I was like, I just thought it was just the most amazing mixes, and I was like, I'm writing everything fresh for these mixes, yeah. So I worked on those mixes for like 2 months, and I ended up after the first one, which I really should find the name of while I'm referencing it. I remember getting 21 fresh bars off that. And then the development mix was the same. I think it was like 18. So I got all this fresh material from like writing these mixes with the boys that, you know, I went on to use at varying, like, you know, throughout my career, really.
So did you end up putting those on tracks? Some of them.
Some of them definitely got used on tracks. Yeah, they did.
When do you tend to write? Because, you know, you're a busy guy, right? You're a family man, got work commitments and stuff like this. So
yeah,
when do you? What does that look like? Your writing process, or just carving out the time to actually do this stuff?
Yeah.
When would you tend to do that?
So just quickly, there was the Chorality mix, was the Galaxy mix. That was the first one. Honestly, a lot more like when I was doing those mixes, living with John, didn't have so much responsibility. Now, a lot of the time when I'm going to get my daughter, I'll be like on the train writing to tracks that I've got. I don't think I've written rave bars for a long time, actually. And that's something that I think is, in this moment, I'm almost realizing is a bit sad. I'm really just writing to tracks all the time. And I mean, I say that, but then that thing that we did on the Cool Show, you know, you filmed me doing that one at the first lyric I did on the Cool Show. Yeah. Like, that's actually a rave bar. So I think I'm chatting shit. I tend to mostly write to tracks people send to me, and I write in the evening after work or on road, like when I'm out and about on my phone, because I don't really tend to do too many. I would love to link up with more people in the studio, but it's incredibly hard to get certain people to want to work with you in the first place. And yeah, like for whatever reason, and the people that do are just happy to send me like a folder of tunes, and then I like, you know, we'll just do it in my own time. I don't think I'm a prolifically quick writer. I think I like to take my time and get really deep into the intricacies of the lyric or the tune. And I think by overcomplicating it in that way, you know, and just through lack of experience of like working in a studio and having that pressure over and over, I've obviously done it, but I think I would love to do it more, because I feel like I would find my rhythm and feet, and it would really help improve elements of my game that I think are lacking. Whereas really,
what do you mean exactly when you say you'd love to do it more? Do what more?
Get in a studio with people and have that pressure of like they're writing a tune at that moment, and I've got to craft something while they're writing that tune, you know, and you've got almost like a time limit, rather than me writing something very, very long over a period of a number of days or whatever. You know, I'm saying days, but I mean like evenings after work and stuff, which is what I tend to do. I also, weirdly, I tend to have multiple tracks on the go at the same time. I have this thing that I don't really tell many people, but every single bar I've ever written has a reference to another bar I've written in it.
Really?
I've left a breadcrumb trail through my lyrics throughout the entire...
Shit.
Yeah, it's pretty mad, actually. And I realised that I don't know when I realised I was doing this, but I've just been subconsciously doing it my entire life. If I pick up any bar I've ever written, like not from, let's say, not Furious Fury, since I've been Visionobi, there's a reference to another bar I've written in pretty much every bar or track that I've ever written.
I'm going to have to listen out for these then.
Yeah, you will start clocking them as well. Because I was like...
Yeah, I'm going to have to kind of... I'll see if I can report back to you if I catch one.
Yeah.
And I'll text you and let you know.
It's like little breadcrumb trails, just little like essences and like sick. Just leaving like little bits. And I guess it's part of the whole story. It's like I do look at it as, you know, career-wise, it's not just one EP, one album. It's that legacy you speak of, you know. It's like that DRS legacy and bit, and I'm sure he's the same, you know. I'm sure he has tracks where he's like, that was a little nod to this lyric or whatnot. And I think I've even picked up on ones that he's done, you know. And sometimes because I'm writing multiple things at the same time, there is crossover. But I don't know, I like it. It's like it's just breadcrumb trail, like the best way to describe it, really. Just leaving these little clues for people to sort of figure out and trace.
Some Hansel and Gretel business.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to any of these writing camps?
Nah, I've tried to get on them, but yeah, not really, not really got the call up. Yeah, I've asked to be in a few. I went on Solvents one actually.
Right.
So yeah, I did do Solvents one, but I've tried to get on a few others, but yeah, no luck. Just one of those.
I think there's a lot to be said for. It's so easy to kind of end up in this groove of, you know, producer sends track, MC writes lyrics, MC records, sends back. And that's just how it becomes. But I said to myself, I promised myself this year to actually make an effort to just get in the studio a bit more with the producer, because I feel like there's something about that collective energy that will definitely have an impact on the creative process. It just has to. Do you know what I mean? Just make it, and if nothing else, just make it a bit more fun and exciting to actually.
Yeah.
The recording process becomes fun, not just like a means to an end. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm the same, man. And I am putting feelers out. Obviously, it's very limited time. But if I'm like in Bristol or something, I'll reach out to a few people. But whether they're there or not is, you know, it's difficult. I think. Honestly, the position you're in right now as like full-time self-employed, I'd be rinsing that, Phil, because you know what it's like when you work full-time and you do gigs on the weekend and you have a kid. You know, admittedly that I have part-time, but it still, you know, takes up a lot of time with like travel included, and you know, there's extra things that are frustrating about, you know, not having a full-time kid. Sometimes I'm like, if she was here all the time, it'd actually make my life a lot easier, you know. So yeah, it's interesting and it's tough, and it's just about graft, and it comes back to that what we were saying, you know, we live and breathe this, and I'm not going to stop doing it, and I will, you know, hope for more occasions like that. And I'm, you know, if I can get myself into a position where I can do it full time, you know, maybe with this other project or whatnot, like I'll be there wanting to, you know, knocking on people's doors for studio days and stuff. And yeah, I mean, if stuff does kick off that project, I bet some people will start picking up the phone and being like, "Oh yeah, mate, we'll get you involved."
Yeah, it's one of them, innit? It's like the classic one. The classic way I would put it is when the producer wants your vocals on a track, they're about.
Yeah.
When you're like, "Hey, I've got a project. Can I get a beat?" Not always as easy. But having said that I'm talking maybe like 10 years ago. I don't find that anymore, because you kind of refine like who you chat to, and not refine, like, I think there's lots of hungry, driven producers out there at the moment that are looking to work with people.
Yeah.
So
I think that's that middle school position again. It's like, you know, you can look up to the people like I want to work with that I like came through the same time as, and, you know, are really prolific. Or we can nurture and, you know, work with people that want to work with us. And that's what I do, because if someone wants to work with me, like, it's the Solvent thing. It's like they backed me, I'll back them. Someone wants to come work with me, back me, and I like the tune, I'll do it. I'm not sitting here being like, I can only work with like big man in the game. Like, I think that's I think that's dead, to be honest. I think it's nice to nurture, and at the end of the day, it's nice to be wanted. And if someone wants to work with you, you're gonna get, ultimately, it's gonna be something much better come out of it than someone that's just trying to make something work because I begged them 10 times to do a tune with me, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. A couple of other things I wouldn't mind just touching on, just out of interest, that you got this tune here called Smog, which you released last year, and this one is out as a, you know, as a Visionobi is the artist on this one. So just being curious, I just wonder who produced that beat.
Particle.
Is it?
Yeah.
So what's the because all the other stuff you've done on Solvent, I think I'm right in saying the majority of the other stuff you've done on Solvent, it lists the you know, it's Visionobi and producer.
Yeah.
But this one is, so was that a tactical thing, or
there's one other on my album that was a Document 1 tune. Can't remember. Let me just get it up. But yeah,
Tune's
there's
bad,
one
though. That's this. I mean, I recognise the
Smog
bars, but I
Tune
don't
is
recognise the actual track. So yeah,
Smog Tune's bad. Love that
Bad boy.
one, but yeah, his management didn't want to feature, wasn't in keeping with what they're doing right now. Yeah, all feeds into that kind of similar narrative, really, that, you know, I'm not getting hung up on these days. Like we just said, it's like,
But that's good though, isn't it? I see that as like, that's a good thing, isn't it? Because it's just like, yeah, boom, Visionobi, Smog.
Following Signs was the document one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you say that, but when you've got an album and like probably the biggest artist on there is like, I don't want to be featured. you know. Come on.
All right, yeah,
we can look at it from a
saying.
philosophical point of view if you want, but ultimately it's a little bit of a par. If we're going to be realistic with ourselves, like it's. I don't look at it like, oh, wicked, I can put a track out. It's not like I'm Degs producing the tune myself and then I've put it out in that way. And I'm not, this isn't coming from a place of like bitterness either, because everyone has their own agenda and they've got to, do what they want to do. They've got management chipping in. They got labels saying X, Y, and Z. This is my project. They're like, oh, it can't come out because, something else is going on at that time, or, we're like Elevate exclusive, we can't have a release on a different label. There's just levels to this game, and I guess that's one of the things that maybe I don't like so much about the scene, is this like gatekeeping-y kind of mentality where people are more bothered about protecting their reputation than nurturing someone that's at maybe like a lower level than them, and that like would like really benefit from that like support and promotion. And yeah, I mean, if it was me the other way around, I just don't think I'd be that guy. Like, I'd like to think I wouldn't be anyway, because, I just think I don't know, we're in a collaborative space, all working hard to kind of make careers in this music.
It's tricky though, isn't it? Because it's a common theme throughout this conversation, is in parts of it anyways, that there's just two sides to it all, isn't there? Because I'm thinking, I'm on a similar tip to you, but then I don't, and I'm sure you don't say yes to every project. You don't say yes to every time you get approached, because it just doesn't fit, or you've got too much on, or you're just saying yes for the sake of saying yes. Yeah. And it's diluting what you're doing. So I suppose everyone's just navigating their thing.
There's levels in there. Yeah.
There's levels.
You're
right.
Yeah.
And I suppose I was going to say, like, I suppose sometimes the shame of it is that, like, it's just, there's producers I definitely couldn't get a beat off, who I'm good friends with. But then again, it's not personal. It's like a business thing, isn't it? Like, people, we're talking about careers, we're talking about business moves and game plans and strategies. So I do kind of get it as well. I think maybe the difference is like with the difference between like being a producer and being an MC. It's just different, isn't it? It's just different moves, man.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about it all day, couldn't we? It is so, that's why I say I don't begrudge that stuff. Even when I've like worked with people, the Wilco thing, I've had a couple more examples that I won't go into of that, with like people I've been working with that then, kind of told me how to MC and stuff. And at the time, it's a wounder, especially when it's like friends of yours and whatnot. And then there ends up being like a little bit of a fallout. It's not like, I'm still friends and stuff, but the fallout is the working together thing. And it's like, right, we move on. Who's going to be next to par me off? It's just like, as a lyrical MC and D&B, I think you just need to, you have to have pretty thick skin. And I guess at times in my career as a pretty sensitive man, as you can probably tell through like 50% of my, deep conscious lyricism, like I'd be lying if I said it doesn't cut deep sometimes, but you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, you kind of unapologetically continue to do what you came here to do, and just hope that at some point it's going to like really truly land, and you can look back and be like, well, I stuck to my guns and it all worked out in the end. And I kind of, if I spoke to my 16-year-old self, he'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about, mate? You've achieved it all, like, you know? So, like, there's levels in there.
It's all part of the evolution, isn't it, bruv? What you're talking about there is all part of the evolution, because you've taken that, the stuff you talked about, the knockbacks, the sort of little fallouts and things that have, like, cut a bit, and then you've channeled it. And the key thing is, it's clear to see, clear to hear that you put it into the music, and you believe, like you said the word belief a couple of times, like you believe in what you're doing. You're a man on a mission.
Yeah.
It's not just some throwaway, oh, I better put a tune out here, have that one. Like, you're a man on a mission. It's great to see, man. It's great to see.
I think foundation's so important as well, isn't it? I know we've spoken about it before, but like, I think especially for, you know, people of our era, not to avoid using the middle school term too frequently, but like people of like our era of drum and bass, it's like, yeah, it's just it's so important to kind of like stay true and kind of have that belief, because otherwise there is naught but despair.
I hear that. Yeah, because you get pushed and pulled in all sorts of directions. There's all sorts of fuckeries going on in the sort of world of music, and yeah, man. So yeah, 100%. And I said this to you the other day, I'll just say it for the podcast as well, is that, you know, so last week, listeners, I'm talking to you now, last week, me and Rich linked up and recorded a radio show, and I was blown away. Like, Rich talks about being match fit. Okay, I think him and Joe Raygun have a little bar about being match fit. You know the sitch, something like that, wasn't it? Yeah. But saying in match fit, when I hear that expression, I think of Visionobi. But
can I just say where that?
Go on. Yeah.
Just because, basically, Joe used to call me match fit because he's like, Rich, you may not be the best MC in the game, but if other MCs got as fucked up as you and then tried to MC back to back with you, you're murking every single one of them. He's like, it was match fit, no matter the sitch, we're match fit. And that was it, yeah? Because he was just like, he would watch me and he'd be like, how can you remember everything, be so on point, do all this, yet you've done X, Y, and Z, and like you are like high and in front of all these people and you're like langing it. And that was where it came from. He's just like, nobody can ramp with you on your level of alcoholism and the rest of it. No one's ramping you. He's like, you're bunning them, you're murdering them all if they're as licked as you.
And that reminds me of my mind's just like bringing up visions of Croatia Outlook Festival for some reason.
Yeah,
match fit, whatever the sitch.
Giants.
Yeah, man, that's sick. But yeah, you're match fit. What I was alluding to, what I was telling the people listening, is that you're match fit, and it inspired me. It really, honestly, bruv, it really inspired me last week.
You said some of the nicest things to me, man. That message means a lot to me.
I am here to give you your flowers, because I just think life's too short to not say what you think and feel. So just say it. But it's not like why should we feel any way about it? Like I stood there and just thought, but in a really inspiring and uplifting way, I just thought, rah, Visionobi is like fucking on one. I want to be on one. I want to be match fit. And I've been I've been writing since then. I've been writing, I've been practicing. Because next time we do a radio show, I want to step up and with some new bars and bits and pieces. Do you know what I mean? And that's come from you. It's really inspiring. And
yeah, but we do that to each other. Yeah, that's the give and take that we have, and I'm loving that at the moment with us. There's just a real positive, fueling energy that we're bringing to the table. You know, putting that expectation aside, doing it for the love, grafting, putting all the right pieces in the puzzle, and just hoping that, not hoping it will get complete. Because I always say, like, you never want the puzzle to be complete, do you? It's like all about the journey of making the puzzle. The way you worded what you said was beautiful. Like, yeah, that it really was. Like, it meant a lot. I can't remember what you said, but it was really profound the way you worded.
Well, I took a video. Like, luckily, what happened is should I say this? Like, it doesn't matter. We started the set and then realised we hadn't pressed record. Big up excess. And
15 minutes in.
This is what happens, yeah. But like you said, at least it happened at the beginning, and not we got to the end of the 2 hours, and we're like, oh shit. But anyway, you started the show off with this certain track and this amazing heartfelt lyric, and then luckily we hadn't pressed record, and we got to hear it all again. And I was like, right, I'm actually going to get this on the phone, and I'm glad I did. And obviously I sent it over to you. But you know, you were talking some real shit about your daughter and about some stuff, like just about life, and I was just like, oh yeah. Actually, this is what it means to like write some heartfelt stuff from the soul. And it was sick. It was great to see you. And you were standing there like with your eyes closed, just going in, zoned.
You said it was like the pinnacle of soulful, like something lyricism. I was like, that is mad. But
honestly, I was just like,
I really appreciate it.
I stand by it. I'm not trying to gas you up. I stand by it. I haven't heard anything better than that for a long time. And I was standing next to you, so I could kind of feel it as well. And the track you picked to do it over was perfect.
I wrote it to that track. Do you know what? So when we go back to the writing process, I find certain tracks and I will write multitude of lyrics to them. So at that LSB Walking Blues, I have written at least, I would say, 7 or 8 lyrics to that tune. And Self-Love was written to Walking Blues.
Wow.
Self-Love was written to Walking Blues. I did, you know, the MC Residents gang. Big up MC Residents. The freestyle thing I did for them was Walking Blues, and it was another bar, like an ode to like my fans and people that connect with my music, was written to Walking Blues.
Wow. And
loads of my my sort of liquid lyrics have been written to like, just, you know, I'll have like a tune and it will just be like, it'll just keep creating it for me, and it'll be a rave lyric, and then I'll turn it into a tune, or won't. You know, the majority of them, you know, that's only, I mean, one has been turned into a tune. The rest are all just still rave bars. One was used as a freestyle. But yeah, I'll just find a tune that I vibe with and then like roll with it. Often, because I think when something connects with your soul like that, it's like it just becomes really easy to write. Writing shouldn't be hard, and I'm contradicting myself there slightly because I do like to overcomplicate things, but the essence of the bar shouldn't be hard. Getting the intricacies and the technicalities in there, you know, doesn't necessarily need to be easy, especially if you're trying to confuse everyone like I am. Keep people on their toes.
I wrote something down on my pad. I can't read my own writing now. I knew this would happen. Actually, I wrote 2 things down. I've written down here, a pattern genius while you lot master mediocre. I like that. That stood out in my head. A pattern genius while you lot master mediocre. Your flow on that modus operandi. Is it operandi or operandi? How do you say it?
I think you can say it either way.
Well,
I did like, you know, the Google speech. I did do that before, because, you know, sometimes you write that shit and then you're like, am I saying it correctly? And I've definitely had tracks where I haven't said shit correctly, but yeah, you can say modus operandi.
I'd probably say modus operandi, but whatever. Yeah. But people definitely go and listen to these after this podcast. Go and listen to these tunes, because the bars you come with on that track, that is sick. But yeah, one thing I wanted to ask you, if you don't mind, there's a lyric. I'm certain it is that track. There's a lyric on there which I just didn't quite understand, and I just wondered if you could explain it to me.
Yeah.
It's just one sentence. So it's if I've written this down correctly, I don't give a F or a Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. So do you remember? Remember back in the day? Like, I think it might be Cockney Rhyme style. You'd be like, "Oh, don't give a Jimmy, mate."
Oh, no,
I don't give a Jimmy. Nah, back in the day, I think that was a phrase like, "Oh, don't give a Jimmy, mate. Don't give a Jimmy." Right. Like, don't give a fuck. So like, the reason I put that is like, how does it go? Sorry, again, it's like,
well, I only wrote down that one line. I don't give a F or a Jimi Hendrix.
I don't give a F or a Jimi Hendrix. And then it's like, I go into talking about getting fucked up, don't I? Because Yeah. So it's like Jimmy, and then Hendrix is like sort of the start of the next line, but I pieced it together because he's just an icon that I'm very fond of. But yeah, weird one. You know, I like to get weird.
Yeah, there's too many bars on these tunes. So yeah, obviously people just go on Spotify or wherever. But yeah, LDS Langdown Season is the latest one. Modus Operandi and Enamour's my tune. I've been battering that. That's sick. Big up Tej and
your
Riddy
boy
as well. Yeah, you're doing a lot, man. You're doing a lot.
Okay. You, bro.
2.5 hours. I told you, said to you earlier, these podcasts go so quick. We could wrap this up.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk? Oh, do you know what? I've just thought of something as well. Do we want to talk about the? Maybe we don't need to talk about this. Like the 720 thing.
Yeah, let's talk about it. If you want to.
Yeah. All right.
Or you can get me back for an episode 2, and we can just fucking do a Minded People exclusive on it. Well, I don't care.
I feel like.
It depends if you think people are still going to be listening at this point, because
they're definitely listening, man. People love a long podcast.
Yeah,
they love a long podcast. Let's shelve the 720 bit. We'll come back to that.
Yeah,
we'll do that.
I'll come back whenever, innit? It's like easy for me to set this shit up. 100%, bro.
So like, I'm loving this.
Yeah,
we'll come back to that. So what I do want to talk about, and then we'll kind of move towards wrapping this up.
Yeah,
bringing it right back up to speed. So we talked about your history. We've talked about the artistry, the writing process, the music, and obviously there's loads more to say, but we've gone through that. We've talked about given our opinions on things that happened in the scene and stuff like that. To bring it right up to speed, something special was happening in London on the 13th of February.
Yes.
And I think you need to tell people what's going down.
Yeah, so I've decided to dip back into the promotion game. Obviously, I was promoting in Southampton in varying different capacities. Like all those nights I mentioned, like Wax, Release, Raygun Youth, I had an involvement in promoting all of those, really, to a certain extent. Release was a night I started with Dave Stone and my mate Matt, and Wax, I ended up taking it on when Carl moved away to Panama. I sort of tried to keep it alive. We moved clubs and sort of kept doing it. So I've always done a bit of promotion. I worked for a club back in the day. I loved running events. I, lived and breathed like the events industry in many different ways, but from a promotional standpoint, always have until, I kind of moved back to London, and then I've done a couple of Visionobi Presents events, I guess, over the years, and invited some people down, and I did a Rogue Elements night, which was Sign. Do you remember Sign, Andy?
Yeah,
he used to do the Dispatch nights. Me and him did an event together, but yeah, like it was great, but lost a lot of money, as is, that sort of kind of standard that happens. But that was like years ago. So I've had a long break for whatever reason, really. And I just got to a point where I was like, I miss running events, and I miss grassroots promotion events. Everything seems to be run by the same kind of few people, and it's like everything's swallowed up, or people get their brand event is like, oh, this person's running that for them, and it's all very I don't know, it's just not as organic as I remember it being, right? So I had, as always, ideas man with bare notes on his phone about crazy ideas. I've had the Colony brand for ages. I mean, I did a night actually in Guildford under the Colony brand, under a different logo. It was an ant at the time. We did a night, I can't remember how many years ago that was, but it was a fair amount of time ago, at least like 4 years ago, 5 years. And yeah, it went really well. Had to put it on the back burner. Haven't really had the money to invest back into nights. Did a rebrand because spoke to a few people and was like, maybe that techno brand Ants are gonna come knocking if you get big. And it was all a bit like, are they not? I was like, fuck it, we're gonna rebrand. Got my same logo guy to sort it out. He did it. I was like, let's do a B. Because fundamentally the night is called Colony, and it's not about colonizing things. It's about an organism of you know, an organism at one in its habitat, coexisting peacefully. That's the colony kind of ethos, yeah. And then I kind of have come with a little like sort of couple of little slogans to kind of just back up, which is like culture, community, colony, because that's what we want to rep. And be a bee, you know, like be part of the colony. I want it to be a night for the people. It's not really, you know, I'm not looking at it at this moment in time to like make money. I'm looking at it to just be something that reminds me of like old school raving back in the day, something that has like a real like clear defined ethos, something that's like in tune with the essence of what I think makes drum and bass the most beautiful genre of music in the world, and something that brings that beautiful community together in a place where we can all just express ourselves and escape and enjoy the music that we love. So obviously, you know, it's the music that I love, the deeper realms of drum and bass, the liquid realms of drum and bass. Yeah, got a bunch of just incredible artists on board that have all, you know, really put their neck out and done, you know, either returned favors or done favors in order for me to launch this off the ground. It wouldn't be happening without my mate Ricardo, who I used to work with at AEI Music, who was like, he works at E1 actually. And so we've got a few little benefits from that, which I actually was talking to someone the other day and I was like, I feel like it's actually quite a unique way of working, but kind of cool, because obviously the club wants the night to be busy, so they're helping us as much as possible, but I'm an independent promoter in there with my brand, and he's, you know, we're trialing a few shows together, but if it goes well, I'm going to just fully bring him in and we'll do it because we're 50-50 funding it together. But I bring the artist, the brand, the artists on the lineup, and the kind of like favors and all this, and my social media profile. He and half the financial backing, and he brings his like marketing expertise, his event expertise, and his benefits from working at the club. But it's not an E1 event, it's like our event. We're running it through he runs separate events as well, so we're running it through our two businesses. And yeah, it's looking like it's gonna be a really beautiful thing. We've got a Nile back-to-back LSB, which is obviously like a homage for me to like Marcus Intellects. That's what I was like going for with that one. Carves, you know, my sister in this music, back-to-back Sustenance, one of my brothers in this music. Galaxy Zero T, brothers in this music. And Amos and Objective, like obviously I've worked with Objective a bit recently, and I've just known James for time and I'm like close with him. So it's like a real melting pot of like my mates who I think are sick, all going back to back with like carefully crafted back to backs. Obviously I've got my mic boy Fokus, and me hosting all night, and my mate Maximus, who's also helping promote the night. And if it, you know, we're hoping we can, you know, just maybe like break even, just lose a bit of money on this one, and then, you know, do a couple more events and see where, you know, it takes us really. I think there's a gap in the market for this stuff. Obviously, I'm not claiming like, you know, we're starting from ground zero, because I've just spoken about, you know, I think it's important to be honest about the structure of what's happening. But, you know, my friend Ricardo, he's my boy. We're on this venture together. We've got our boy Max with us, and we're just hoping to create something like really special that reminds really me of my older days raving. I don't want to be booking huge headliners and like, you know, have like 1-2 headliners. And I kind of, the thing with the back-to-backs is that kind of feeds into the culture, community, people coexisting together to create something special. So it's like I'm almost booking like more of the middle school in order to give them a platform, but back-to-back that makes them a headliner in their own right, which hopefully facilitates and feeds an area of the scene that's maybe like lacking bookings at the moment, you know? So yeah, that's kind of the ethos of everything that we're trying to do. Tickets are going really well so far, actually. Like, yeah, obviously the skeptic in me's been pretty like surprised with the uptake, and me and Ricardo are feeling like pretty positive about the whole thing, and it's looking like it's going to go really well. People have been like loving the lineup and stuff, so hopefully my musical taste is to people's, you know, that the younger generation and the sort of ones that are getting a bit more clued up about what else is out there other than maybe like your D&B All Stars. I'm worried about Henrys that are like kind of seeping into the lower echelons of this music, and we're just trying to tap into that really and like give them a raving experience, like what I think like North Quarter and Gemini and that kind of stuff has been doing for a long time, like really prolifically. We're just trying to bring something else to the fold that's not label related, so we're not bound by we have to have our label artists. It's like that whole thing of like I want to mix it up and have different artists from different labels on the lineup and different MCs working with, you know, if someone tells me you got to book this MC, no mate, Phil's hosting it, I'm hosting it, you know. It's like creating that kind of old school retro almost drum and bass event lineup that, you know, hopefully people connect with and come down to the party and enjoy. So yeah,
bruv. No, the lineup's sick. The ethos is solid. I love the aesthetic of the brand Colony, like the colours and just everything about it. Just is pleasing to look at. So yeah, where can people find out more about Colony?
Yeah, so obviously I'm promoting it predominantly for my Instagram page at the moment, just because that's the one that's got the biggest following. But we got at Colony events on Instagram, which I will get more active on, and then the event and tickets are on RA. I think we're up to like 3rd release now, maybe like 2nd release. Been doing some January discounts because we know it's pretty hard in January for everyone, so we're just trying to, you know, make sure that people are being looked after and gonna get something, you know, for a reasonable price, as well as, yeah, being able to survive as a, you know, new events brand. I mean, it's crazy to launch a grassroots event in a sort of, I think the capacity of the 2 rooms that we've got at E1, which is at Onyx, which is obviously their room 2 and room 3 is like 700 cap for those 2 rooms. So yeah, we didn't start small, but it's because
mate, you're going in from straight off the bat.
You got to use the contact.
Back-to-back lineup. Yeah, why not? Like you said it yourself. Like you got the contacts. You got there's some industry experience behind it.
Exactly.
As well.
Yeah,
Boom.
My design guy, what you said as well, my mate Jack Springbet used to do a lot of the DMBA stuff. Like honestly, did my logo, did my album artwork, just the G. Just I can give him a brief and I'm just like nailed it. You know, it just like you said, it just looks clean. Nothing too extra about it. You know, we're probably just work through different colorways. You know, I want to keep that consistency. I want to keep it clean. You know, no nonsense. That's not what it's about. No, not overdoing things. It's just simplifying the thing. You know, organic ethos, underground drum and bass. Yeah, that's how we're rolling.
Come on.
Yeah,
I love it. G. I love it. I'm glad to be. It's nice to be part of things like from the ground up, from inception, like from early. Do you know what I mean? I love that. I just love being part of stuff. Like we touched on it a little bit throughout the conversation, but it's important, man.
Oh, mate, people that book
us,
vibes
like, are good.
How gas, like when someone books me, I'm always just like so thankful. I'm just like, rah, man, they chose to book me. You know,
yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? We're so lucky to do what we do. I know we kept it pretty away from the moan zone to where we could have gone, and it's because inherently I'm a positive guy. I just think it's good to, you know, bring some realism to the fold as well. But fundamentally, I love this music. I love this scene. I'm very positive about everything that's like going on at the moment. Things seem to be moving in more of the direction that I think for the next 5-10 years I'm gonna like. So hope maybe it's the middle school's time, bro.
I can see it. I think I'm really excited for you because I think it's all mate. There's still so much more to come from Visionobi for sure, and you've done a lot already.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, there is.
So yeah, whew, I think we wrap this up in the traditional way. Okay,
cool.
So the traditional end is to ask you for your ultimate MC cipher.
Right. What is in that I've seen?
So no. This is what it is. So you can pick 5 MCs.
Oh yeah.
From any genre. Any style, whoever they are, past or present, dead or alive. And this is like you sitting on the sofa and these 5 MCs in front of you just going in. Maybe the DJ is dropping different genres, whatever. Like, there's no rules or regs. So it's really like, what 5 MCs do you want to see sparring in a cypher?
Eminem, Biggie, jest, strategy. This is like classic me, because the reason we've been talking for like almost 3 hours is that like I always want more. I want 10. I gotta put DRS in there as well. I think. Yeah.
Come on.
I think that'd be my mix. If I could have some more, I'd have like Dabbler, Jam Baxter.
Oof.
Yeah,
Dabbler.
but Dabbler's
that name for a while.
Dabbler is a bad man. The album output from him is crazy, and he's just got his own unique style. Yeah, but yeah,
wicked.
That was 7. Sorry.
That's Visionobi's ultimate MC cipher. So, being a man that likes to spit and has 1 or 2 lyrics tucked away in the folder, would you like to sign us out with an a cappella?
Yeah, sure. I feel like I should just do the one we've been talking about from the show. That's the one that comes to my mind.
Bruv, the floor is yours. I'm going to kind of put myself on mute for a second, just chill and listen. So, yeah, I know you're match fit anyway. You're match fit. You're ready to spit. So whatever you want to do, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that one just because I feel like we've spoken about it, and I feel like it's a nice touch to end with.
Wicked.
So yeah, I stay setting the stage. Another day, stepping off the page. I run away, chasing a moment of escape, serenading the light, but cast away into the shade. In 2 minds, marked with a purpose. True lies, the future got me nervous. Spent significant time throughout my life feeling worthless, so I fling a few bars to show you what's under the surface. Self-critical or over-analyst. Self-destructive, years missing the link. Feared for my life, was putting it at risk. Happy to be alive, but wished I'd ceased to exist. Frequent dark days, but river swept me away. She doesn't know it yet, but she kept my demons at bay. Gave me something to live for in a whole different way. A love and meaning to help me see the light of day. So now I'm free, just following the breeze. Found solace, happy to wallow in the deep. Honestly, so hollow from the greed. Constantly feel sorrow for this planet's lack of peace. But I still got belief, still spread love. Still have dreams, still at one with nature. When I get time to breathe, still pushing myself to be a better me. Still find beauty in the imperfection, lost, but on the right direction. Battling with my own guilt projection. Not quite fully accepted my reflection. Still a little bit plagued by guilt. Regrets piled up, some feelings concealed. Every day's a new day, I'm manifesting the will.
Yo! Come on, man. Big yourself up. Big yourself up.
G.
That's a sick way to sign out. I love that.
Brother.
I love that. Mate, loads more to be said, but we'll talk again another time.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
No, brother, loved it, man. Thanks for coming on.
Anytime.
So, yo, peeps, you know what to do. If you're a YouTube watcher, you can listen to this on Spotify and Apple and vice versa. Rich knows the drill here. All the podcast stuff that we say, like, you actually, what is it? Link, what am I talking about? Follow, like subscribe.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about the podcast, which is mad, isn't it? We could have done podcast Inception. That's a whole nother one in itself, isn't it?
There's more to come from this conversation, don't worry. But yeah, look, big up. Just keep listening. If you feel to share it, tell a friend, all that kind of stuff. This is a grassroots podcast. It's not anything flashy. It's real conversation. Like I said at the beginning, it's the culture, the craft, and the conversation with real MCs that actually do this thing and care about it. And yeah, big up for listening. From me and from Visionobi, we're out. Peace.
Big up, lastly, for you for providing a platform for people like me and lyricists and artists to come on and speak about the art form, and it's important. And yeah, I think you need to give yourself credit for that. So love, G.
Respect. Thank you. I'm a fan of this and I love doing it. It's a passion project, you know, so kid in a sweet shop, do you know what I mean?
It is like that, isn't it? Honestly,
yeah, man.
Amen's the same. It's like everyone's like, it's like the best position to be in. You're like literally like talking to your like idols and shit. It's crazy and it's lovely. But yeah, still big up to it's hard work in it. So yeah, love.
Yeah, no, thanks
Safe
for saying
people.
that, man. Till next time, peeps, we're out. Later.